Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is TWiT.
Bandwidth for TWiT specials is provided by CacheFly at CACHEFLY.com. This is TWiT special number 331, recorded Monday, June 4th, 2018. Apple's WWDC Keynote 2018. This TWiT Live special is brought to you by IT Pro TV. Flexible, entertaining training for your IT career. Visit go.itpro.tv/WWDC and use the code WWDC to get a free 7-day trial and 30% off a monthly membership for the lifetime of your active subscription. Hello, everybody. Welcome once again to our annual Apple Day 2018. It's WWDC, the Worldwide Developers Conference, and in just a few minutes, Tim Cook will take the stage and rock and roll. What's that? Is that the Apple feed? Oh, it just started. All right, we're watching the feed, and as usual, what we're going to do is we're going to stream the feed on our stream. You'll be able to watch it, but a word of warning: there will be commentary and speculation, and we're going to annotate it, and that's what we do. But if you want to watch the feed, you can go to Apple's site directly and watch it in Safari or on your Apple TV, right? They have an Apple TV thing. Let me introduce my co-host for the day and for life, Megan Morrone.
I don't think I signed up for life.
I can't seem to shake her. She's the host, of course, of iOS Today, which we'll be doing tomorrow to talk about anything they announced today, and of Tech News Weekly every Thursday with Jason Howell. And soon, I'm happy to say, Know How.
Yes, we're doing a 12-week season of Know How, IoT, Internet of Things.
Thanks. Father Robert, as most of you, I think, know, is returning to Rome. He's been called back. They keep pulling me in. And we have to replace him, unfortunately. But the good news is Megan's here, and you'll be joined by Florence Ion.
Yes.
And what we're going to do is a 12-week season. So the first season will be IoT. Then Jason Howell will take a 12-week season. I can't remember what he's doing.
I think it's still a secret.
Is it a secret? Okay. But each 12-week season will have a focus, which gives us a chance to really drill down on some particular topic. So, WWDC in San Jose, California should start in about 10 minutes. I'm going to show it because I love it. The homepage, apple.com/WWDC. Do you have my screen? Okay. Is very nice animation, very pretty animation. They did a very nice job of that, I think. There it is. Let me do it. I'll refresh it so you can see it. Ooh, pretty. But notice it's all software. There's no hardware. And this is one of the things Mark Gurman talked about on Friday of last week, kind of a surprise. He says Apple will not show any hardware, will not announce any hardware. Last year, they announced the HomePod, iMac Pro. They showed both. They also announced, the iMac Pro came out a few months later. The HomePod took a little longer, came out a few months ago. They also announced Messages in iCloud. That came out last week. They announced AirPlay 2 with stereo pairing and multi-room sound. That came out last week. So they don't have a great history of announcing stuff at WWDC and having it come out. They have, though, many years announced hardware. Mark says not this year. And I got a good theory from Greg Farrow yesterday on TWiT, Megan. He said the problem is Intel, which I kind of believe. Intel hasn't really been able to do anything great with its chips in some time. And he said the real issue is these new 6-core Intel processors, the i9, and there's an i7 as well, are available in sample quantities now. So some manufacturers are creating laptops, small numbers of laptops with them, but not in quantity till next year. And, of course, Apple would need quantity. It goes along with another technology that Intel announced a few years ago and is finally making available called Optane. It's a new form of 3D memory using something called crosspoint technology. We were very excited about it when Intel announced it a few years ago. And it also, this Optane memory can also be your solid-state storage. And it's got a faster bus. And the two together, the 6-core processors and this Optane optimization, would make, I think, a big difference for pros on laptops. And so I think Apple would probably very much like to do a new MacBook Pro based on these chips, but without having any chips available, at least in quantity, they can't. So I thought that was I hadn't heard that, but I thought that was a good theory from Greg Farrow as to why Apple may not have hardware to announce.
Because we heard some low-end hardware might be announced, like the SE2, the iPhone SE2. I had heard rumors about that. But even the low-end phones have the high-end chips these days.
Well, it also shows you how worthless the Apple rumor mill really is. Now, I have to say, we're reporting on a rumor that they're not going to announce anything.
Right.
And the rumors were that they might do it, the SE and new iPads and new MacBooks. But I think it's really hard for anybody outside of Apple to guess what Apple's really going to do. So we may see some surprises. Do you have a bingo card for today's broadcast?
I don't, just in my mind. But yeah, I think it's going to be, I think they're going to talk a lot about the iOS 12, obviously.
We know there'll be that, yeah.
And not so many fancy new things in iOS 12, but maybe just have it work.
That would be good.
It's so we'll see about that. Are you going to install, like if they have a beta, are you going to install iOS 12? What's your...
I don't usually do betas. It's funny because that you asked that, because I did put Android P on my Google Pixel phone, but I don't really want to install betas on my iPhone. So
what about your iPad? I usually use one. I have two
sometimes
iPads.
I don't have an extra. Well, I guess I do have an extra iPad. Here's the bingo card provided to us by Cult of Mac. Game demo. So the idea, you know this, right? You put a marker on when something happens, and if you wish you can involve adult beverages, it's up to you. Game demo, excited Phil Schiller, a slightly thinner redesign. I don't think we're going to... You know what? Let me annotate.
Oh, good.
Shall I do that?
Yeah.
I'm sure that we'll see an excited Phil Schiller. I think you can guarantee that. Don't think we'll see a slightly thinner redesign. Mac Pro update. Who are we kidding?
Tech demo goes wrong. That's the one I like to see.
Changing the world? Sure. A ridiculous making of engineering video? Well, without any hardware, no reason. Shigeru Miyamoto make the genius at Nintendo makes an appearance? Absolutely not. Well, you know what? Maybe. Come to think of it. Well,
because games, you were talking yesterday on TWiT about games being so... popular right now, services being, the place. And, if there are probably a lot of game developers, iOS game developers there.
All right, game demo and Miyamoto. How about that? Music is at our very core. No, Tim Cook uses his Apple Watch during a demo. Possibly, we'd heard rumors that there'll be a new Apple Watch later this year. This would be a time to talk about watchOS, perhaps, but no demo.
Does he usually do demos? He usually talks about the...
lies about how good battery life is. Well, fortunately, without any hardware, there's no reason to lie. Mentioning how nationally diverse the crowd of developers is. Guaranteed. And it is. Actually, that's one of the things Apple's done so well. They really have made the App Store a mecca for developers, and they make a ton of money. I was looking at the stats for the first 3 months of 2018 on how much indie or third-party developers are making in the App Store. What do you think the number one game in the App Store is?
It's not the PUBG. But
you're right, Fortnite. That's what you were thinking of.
Yes.
$1.5 million a day. A day.
That's a lot.
They make on that.
On
a day.
outfits.
And it's not to make you better at the game. It's not weapons, it's outfits. Digital. Okay, someone goofs up on stage, I don't know. One more thing, definitely not.
They're done with the one more thing. No more things.
No, tech demo goes wrong. Possibly. Awkward handshake hug. Well, is Bono there today?
I don't know.
We don't know. I'm going to say no.
Okay.
Definitely iOS adoption rates. Our best X ever? No. We really think you're going to love it? Not today. Tim Cook pauses, of course, for an awkwardly long amount of time. Available today? Nope. Apple original TV show announcement? That's an interesting one. What do you think?
Maybe. Have all the announcements that we've heard about been rumors?
No, there were no rumors. They've been pretty forthright about these. And because they're making deals with Hollywood stars who cannot keep their mouths shut.
Yeah, true.
I'm going to say yes. No on drunk Eddie Q.
Possibly drunk. How can you prove that?
And a snide joke about Android? Oh, definitely. So there's our bingo card. You know what? Let's keep that around and we'll see.
Okay, I love it.
I'll annotate as we go. Hey, I want to thank IT Pro TV. When we told them that we were going to do the WWDC event, and it's going to start in just a couple of minutes, they said, hey, can we just buy it out we want all the ads to be IT Pro TV, and I'm thrilled to do it. If you have not heard us talk about it, I don't know where you've been. I love Tim and Don, the founders. They kind of modeled IT Pro TV on Tech TV and also TWiT. The idea was they did IT training, helped people get certs so they could get jobs in IT, help people get better at different skills so they could get better jobs or more money in IT. They'd always done that, but then they said, what if we did it like TWiT? What if we did a internet TV station and create new content every week, have a library of on-demand, cover all the major subjects, all the major certs, and IT Pro TV was born. We've been advertising for them since day one, and I am so proud of them. They have done such a great job. It's the place to go to sharpen your IT skills, to pass the most in-demand certifications. And by the way, their Apple stuff is great. If you're an Apple fan, you'll really appreciate this. From Mac management basics to Apple certified support professionals, they've got you covered. 4,000 hours now of binge-worthy on-demand training, 125 new hours every week. You can watch live or on-demand on your Roku, your Amazon Fire TV, your PC. They have iOS apps. They have Android apps. Now, let me tell you, they've done something very special just because of this WWDC. They are, for the month of June, offering more than 57 hours of Apple IT training free. Normally, the free basic account, you go, you watch live. You're limited in what you can study because it's just whatever they're recording live at the moment. Now, they do 125 hours a week. But they're going to throw in another 57 hours of pre-recorded Apple IT training content. This month only, you got to go to IT Pro TV. Okay? Here's the address. go.itpro.tv/WWDC. Use the offer code WWDC. Get started on your Apple Certified Support Professional or Apple Certified Associate cert. Go.itpro.tv/WWDC for a free 7-day trial. And when you use the code WWDC, 30% off your subscription for the lifetime of your active subscription. And Tim and Don called this morning. They said, you know what we're going to do? We're going to throw in the 57 hours of training for the month of June free as part of your basic membership. They also have fantastic corporate memberships. If you have a team, Harvard University did this. They signed up the whole IT team at Harvard. That's, I think, hundreds of people to take classes at IT Pro TV. You take a look at their team portal. It's awesome. 100,000 members. They've updated the numbers. 4,000 hours of content. Go.itpro.tv/WWDC. Use a promo code WWDC at checkout. What's going on? All we're seeing on the screen from Apple right now is a bunch of icons. Now, the music that they play right up to the end, I think, is important. What's this? Here we go. Probably the last song. What am I taking? Oh, the bingo card. All right. I actually have a digital bingo card. I've got my bingo card filled out. Do you?
Yes. I do have it filled out right here.
This is at the McHenry Auditorium in San Jose. It's a nice venue. I took the EST training there in 1978.
That explains so much. It really does.
And I saw the Kinks there in 1980, I think it was.
So first, that S really worked.
So I know the McHenry Auditorium by heart. It's a really nice place, downtown San Jose. Lots of geeks there. We know Rene Ritchie's out there. I've been watching his flight across the country. Serenity Caldwell is there.
I got a lot of FOMO on Twitter.
I know, on Instagram, seeing all the pictures. Justine, she's streaming live. She went down to Apple Park yesterday. A lot of people did that. I bet Apple Park was fun.
And we have no excuse because now there's the Alt conference as well. Like you can just go down there and
just stand outside and
you could
look
do that.
Sad.
You could always do that.
What's the Alt conference?
It's another conference that's going down for the people because it's so hard to get tickets now to WWDC to get in. It's not just us they're not inviting. It's other people as well. And so there's another conference that is going on at the same time that has, it's just a double conference, an extra.
That's great. So. I think Apple, do they not? I'm pretty sure they put all the conference stuff out later as video.
Probably. Yeah.
Although in the old days at WWDC, the journalists would be invited to the keynote, what we're about to see. And then kicked out unceremoniously. I've had this happen to me. It's just for developers from now on. And the reason being, there's a lot of kind of secret stuff. A lot of the tracks at WWDC are not named because they don't want people to investigate and see what's coming up. We're going to see the new macOS. The rumor is based on that screenshot from Stephen Troughton Smith, Apple accidentally posted a video a couple of days ago that it will be called OS 10 Mojave. Let's add that.
Oh, Mojave.
Let's add that to the bingo card.
Now, what do you think this screen that we're looking at that has all these different
Do you know
apps?
all those? Do you recognize? I mean, you're the host of iOS
Well, they're not all
Today.
apps. Like there's that picture of the boy with one eye.
What is that?
That's the book cover from Wonder, which was also a movie.
Maybe it's an app.
Maybe it's a, I don't
feel
know.
like those are all apps. Oh, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, my Ring Video Doorbell.
Is it ready to start the show?
We go to the McHenry Convention Center. He was a mayor of San Jose about the time they built this. And we're waiting for Tim Cook to take the stage. Is that Frozen? And you're on. Okay, the Apple TV's picking it up, and we're seeing a video of Apple Park right now. Can we pick that up instead? Oh. Here we go. Here's the video.
Northern California's Bay Area. Here is the stage for a truly remarkable natural occurrence.
Great Sir David, not Attenborough.
A great migration is made by one of the world's most mysterious species.
I hope this is tongue-in-cheek.
To reach this utopian destination, these unique mammals will instinctively embark on a nomadic journey from all corners of the world. This is the developer's Triceratops, or as it is more commonly known, the developer.
With the infinity scarf, that's true. That's true.
11.5 months of hibernation has taken its toll. And the sun is harsh as these nocturnal cave-dwelling creatures must greet daylight.
Brilliant.
For most, this momentous migration is their first, while for a select few, the pilgrimage is a time-honored tradition.
Look at Jim Dalrymple.
Oh, yeah.
Time-honored
Originating
tradition.
in the
That should have
remote
been on our
garage
bingo
Real
card.
tip of the hat.
The
to Jim.
beard.
Developers evolved at an unprecedented speed.
Look at all the
to
years
understand
on the back.
how we must observe them here in their sacred temple. And so it begins.
Nice new jackets.
As developers congregate at the event, access to the herd can be hard to come by. For some, blending in is easier said than done.
The suit.
To
That's the
distinguish
giveaway.
themselves, developers identify each other through decorative tribal symbols.
Pins.
These
See the pins this year?
extraordinary
They're gorgeous.
plumages are designed to entice and attract. Here, a pack of rogue younglings at play. The safety of numbers allows them to... Oh, wait a moment. They have now entrapped an indigenous silver-crested king developer. Although tempting, one may look at, but not touch, the mane.
Craig Federighi.
The feeding frenzy at the great gathering. Moving in like a pack of famished piranhas, this frugal breed will spare no morsel. Those who can pull rank on prime cuts. The event culminates in what is known as the Keynote.
Must have shot this
As the
beforehand.
doors open, a behavioral anomaly
So,
can be
I mean, but there's
found.
real developers.
Clearly.
running at full
No
speed,
actors look like that.
battling to secure a coveted front row seat. Following the
got to
ceremony,
be
the latest
howling in
beta
the
software
auditorium.
is unleashed. Its nature at its cruelest. Only the strongest apps will survive. The many languages of the developer are a mystery to modern science. Just look at these letters, symbols, formulas, and mumbled jargon. Only these enlightened shamans can decode their true meaning.
This is brilliant.
The creative bonds formed during the Great Migration will enable these geniuses to unlock our future world.
Somebody's saying this is
no
Stephen
doubt
Fry. I don't
a
know if it
species
is.
scientist will continue to study for millennia.
Maybe. Well done. Well done. Brilliant. That's the best I've ever seen. That's fantastic. And now we go to the theater jam. There's Tim Cook, CEO of Apple, taking the stage.
Good morning. Good morning.
With prayer hands on a bingo card.
I hear the student developers. Good morning and welcome to WWDC 2018. It is great to be back in San Jose with everyone. We have developers here from all over the world this morning, from 77 countries. That's more than ever before.
That I think qualifies as mentioning how nationally diverse the crowd is.
And I couldn't be happier to announce that we now have over 20 million Apple developers around the world.
Wow.
That's more than ever before.
A lot of money there.
We've got 6,000 folks in the hall this morning. Welcome. And many millions more watching online. Now, the way that developers get to share their amazing work is through the App Store. Your creativity and hard work have made the App Store the best place to get the very best apps. Next month, the App Store turns 10.
The iPhone turned 10, of course, earlier this year.
In these 10 years,
it took them about
the
8 months to get the App Store up.
Fundamentally changed the way we all live. It's enabled countless new companies, created tens of millions of jobs, spawned entirely new industries, and it has forever changed our lives.
A year and a few months later.
The App Store is the world's largest app marketplace. And we now welcome over 500 million weekly visitors. This is mind-blowing.
For some of them,
the most
hit it every day
incredible
trying to find
marketplace
updates.
that the world has ever seen. We're also happy to announce that this week, we're going to achieve another huge milestone. The money that developers have earned through the App Store will top $100 billion. Wow.
Remember, Apple gets 30%. It's $30 billion to Apple.
The App Store is clearly the best place for you to be rewarded for your hard work and creativity. Now, at Apple, we know that developers are a powerful group of creators, that they can achieve and they can develop anything that they can imagine with their code. We want more people to learn the power of code. And it all starts with Swift and Swift Playgrounds. We created Swift to make it so easy to learn to code that it was as easy as our products are to use. Swift is extremely popular. In fact, it's the fastest growing programming language out there.
Kind of confirms it probably isn't any hardware.
Apple developers are already using it in huge numbers. In fact, over 350,000 apps have been written in Swift on the App Store. Now, we believe that coding is an essential skill and believe it should be offered by every school in the world. Now, learning to code has so many benefits. It develops problem solving and critical thinking skills. That's why we created Everyone Can Code, with free teaching and learning resources so that everyone could learn to code. It's been so successful and is now available to tens of millions of students around the world. Just imagine what this new generation of coders will create. Whatever it is, I'm sure that it's going to change the world. At Apple, changing the world and making it a better place is what it's all about for us. We aim to put the customer at the center of everything that we do. That's why, together with you, the developer community, we're working hard to provide new and better experiences for our customers to help them live a better day. And these experiences, of course, are expressed through our 4 amazing platforms. Today is all about software. And we've got some very exciting updates across all 4 platforms.
iOS, watchOS, tvOS, and macOS.
We're going to get started with iOS. iOS embodies our philosophy of putting the customer at the center of everything that we design. Every year, we deliver a major iOS update that brings awesome new features that will impact the world. To tell you all about what we have planned for this year, I'd like to introduce Craig Federighi. Craig.
He seems a little stressed, a little tense, a little nervous. I'm not sure why.
All right.
Not his usual relaxed self.
Well, our next big release of iOS is, you guessed it, iOS 12.
Craig's hair, on the
Now,
other hand, is fully relaxed.
Our customers, of course, are going to receive iOS 12 as a free software update. Now, it's easy to forget now, but iOS pioneered this approach of helping you get more out of the device you already own through free updates. And some of those updates have been really quite profound, like the App Store, giving us a whole new way to discover and download apps. It itself was delivered via software update, as were the folders we use to organize those apps. And can you imagine living without Find My iPhone?
It's showing a
Or iMessage with its
old-style
end-to-end
iPhone.
securely encrypted messaging. Or the revolution in iPad productivity with slide over, split view, and drag and drop. Or AR, changing the way we interact with the world around us, all delivered via software updates. And of course, we want to get these improvements to as many of our customers as possible. iOS 11 supports devices that were introduced as far back as 2013, like the iPhone 5S. And we just love the way customers race to update to our newest releases. In fact, half of our customers upgraded to iOS 11 in just 7 weeks. It's incredible.
Microsoft's claiming a similar figure for
Now, as we stand here
1803,
today,
it's spring update.
81% of our over a billion active iOS devices are running our latest release. And now, when
That's
you look at
interesting. A billion devices on iOS
competition,
11.
well, it's hard to say they really
And there's
have
the
a
snarky
software
reference to
update.
Android. You can cross that off your bingo card. We're
So
keeping track.
iOS has the fastest adoption of any operating system. But what's much more important to us is customer satisfaction. And we're thrilled to report that customer sat for iOS 11 is at 95%.
We all have different bingo cards. That way we won't get bingo at the same time.
Last year's.
Now, delivering all of these features across such a wide range of devices while maintaining high performance is a challenge we take really seriously. And so for iOS 12, we are doubling down on performance.
So this is what we'd heard. Craig got the team together and said, we're going to make 12 better, not new
Top
features.
to bottom, making improvements to make your device faster and more responsive. And because we want these changes to be available to the full range of our customers, iOS 12 will be available on all the same devices as iOS 11.
Wow, going all the way back to the 5S.
So nothing's being
This is the
sunsetted.
largest base
That's a
ever
big deal.
supported by an Apple release. And we're focusing our efforts especially on the oldest devices. And while it's still early days, we're really pleased with some of the results we're seeing. And so I'd like to share some with you. And I'm going to use an example of a popular phone from a few years ago. This is the iPhone 6 Plus. Now on that device, iOS 12 delivers a number of improvements across common operations.
So we've got quite a few
You'll see
bingo
that
cards,
apps launch up to
items
40%
crossed off here.
faster.
Changing the world.
The keyboard can
iOS
come up
11
to 50%
adoption rates.
faster, and you can slide to take a photo at up to 70% faster. Now, our deepest focus this year is optimizing the system when it's under load. And that's where you need performance the most and where iOS 12 really shines. Now, we've put iOS 12 through our stress test, and we saw in those conditions share sheet coming up twice as fast and apps launching twice as fast. These are big, big improvements.
Yeah,
now,
seems
this
like a
took
laudable
changes.
goal,
Thank you very much.
for iOS.
This took improvements in many, many places in the system. And I want to highlight just one, and it starts with the silicon. You know, our tight collaboration with our chip team has enabled us to optimize iOS across the full range of our A-series silicon. Now, CPUs traditionally respond to increased demand for performance by slowly ramping up their clock speed. Well, now in iOS 12, we're much smarter. When we detect that you need a burst of performance, like when you begin scrolling or launching an app, we ramp up processor performance instantly to its highest states.
I wonder if there's something wrong with
delivering
the
high
teleprompter,
performance
because
and then
both
ramp it
Tim
down
and
just as
Craig have been
fast
stumbling
to
a little
preserve battery life.
uncharacteristically.
Now, these are just some of the improvements that are coming to not just our older devices, but the full range of devices. And that's a quick update on performance. Now, if this is
Twice
all
as
we've done in
quick as
iOS 12,
last
I
year's
think it
update
would be a
on
great
performance.
release. But we've done more, much more. And we have a lot to cover today. And it
All right,
starts
people are
with
howling about
augmented
something
reality.
up there.
You know,
I'm not sure what icon they saw.
now, AR is transformational technology.
Have to go back and look at those,
bringing experiences into the
icons to
real
see what we
world,
can
it enables all
deduce.
kinds of new experiences, changing the way we have fun and the way we work. And in iOS 12, we've wanted to make an easy way to experience AR across the system. And to do that, we got together with some of the greatest minds in 3D at Pixar. And together, we created a new file format for AR. It's called USDZ. And it's a compact single file format that's optimized for sharing while retaining great 3D graphics and even animations. Now, you can use USDZ across the system, from the Files app to Safari, to even sharing them over messages and mail. And what's great is you can place these 3D objects into the real world. It's something that's like AR Quick Look. It's really awesome. Now, we want all kinds of creatives to be able to create content for AR. And so we're working with the leading companies for 3D tools and 3D libraries to bring their support for USDZ. Now, one company that's been all in on USDZ and ARKit is Adobe. And to tell you about what they're up to, I'd like to invite Abe Parasnis, their CTO, to the stage. Abe.
Thank you. Thanks, Craig. It's great to be here this morning. So at Adobe, we believe augmented reality is an incredibly important technology. And with ARKit, Apple is by far the most powerful platform for AR. So earlier, Craig talked about USDZ format. It's actually a pretty big deal. There is now a way to deliver AR experiences across the entire iOS experience. And so today, we are actually announcing that we are going to bring native USDZ support to Adobe's Creative Cloud. With Creative Cloud, designers and developers will now be able to use familiar apps that they know and love, like Photoshop or Dimension, to create amazing AR content and bring it easily via USDZ. And of course, we're not going to stop there. We are going to bring the power of immersive design to Creative Cloud with a new set of services and applications, including a brand new iOS application that's going to let all of you design amazing AR experiences quickly. So you will be able to bring in images, videos, text, any object from Creative Cloud directly into a native AR environment. In fact, for the first time with Creative Cloud and iOS, you will have a what you see is what you get editing in AR. It's pretty cool.
USDZ are zip files, essentially, without compression, containing data that can be read by 3D
immersive design tools for the first time.
programs.
Thanks. Back to you, Craig.
According to Pixar, file types whose data can be consumed by the USD runtime via mmap.
Now, a critical part
So
of
Alembic
enabling
files are
AR
compatible
is
currently,
accurate
but
measurement.
that's interesting. So that means there will
Precise
be
calibration of
other
sensors,
image formats that can be
iOS
stored
devices,
inside
and
that
our tight
USDZ
hardware
file. That's
software
good news.
integration mean that we
It
do
means
this really well. And we wanted
might
to
be
enable
compatible with
everyone
other
to take
companies'
advantage of this capability.
formats.
So we're introducing a new app, and it's called Measure. It makes it really easy to measure objects, detect rectangles and get their dimensions, and measure lines along surfaces. And I'd like to show it to you now.
So
I've used apps like that.
somebody's been Sherlocked here.
Now, in looking for something to measure,
There's
I ended
quite a
up
few apps
digging
like
that.
through the attic and came upon my old suitcase from my traveling days in college. A lot of memories in here. Now, I'm actually in the Measure app. You see, I can easily measure along this suitcase by just tapping and dragging out a line
I'm
like
going to
that.
try really hard not
And
to
check that out. It's a measurement.
snark about this, but this is something that's been around for some time
What's
on
really
iOS.
cool is I can extend these measurements
With third-party
so I can
apps.
just tap,
And yeah, and I don't really understand why Apple would
drag along another edge,
not only put
just like
effort
that,
into it, but feature it.
and even take
Yeah.
it into full 3D.
It's a kind of like trivial. It's
dragging
like the
down
Compass
to the
app or something.
Mm-hmm.
It's a
like that.
fairly trivial,
Isn't that cool?
kind of lukewarm response from the audience as well.
Now, I mentioned that we could automatically detect rectangles and show you dimensions of objects. So I have a photo here, actually. It's one my mom always wanted me to travel with of me as a baby. And so, you see, what I can do with Measure is it automatically detects
actually
the
a
dimensions of that photo.
Measure
I can
Kit
just tap.
that other apps can use. So
And
Apple's
get,
just
yeah,
this is
cute
just
little baby,
Apple's
wasn't I?
version
And you can get
of
measurements just like that.
So you could use
a
it with
Measure
your
Kit
internet.
app. I'm seeing quite a few measurement apps on the App Store
I'd
that
like
do
to turn
exactly
now
the same
to
thing.
USDZ and its support throughout the system. You know, you can experience USDZ in so many places, and one of those places is news. Now, here's an article, and we're all accustomed to seeing images in news articles, but check this out. Here you see a USDZ asset, and I can just tap on this little 3D control and jump right in and experience it. You can see the amazing animations that are possible, and of course, it's fully interactive. So I can zoom in and pan. Isn't that amazing? Now, USDZ is also great in the web. So here I am at the Fender website, and they actually let you configure your guitar with the kind of finish and pickguard that you want. So I can select a configuration option here, and then I can see the guitar I've configured. So I'm just gonna tap in. Of course, I can see the guitar here, but wouldn't it be cool if I could see it in the real world, in its real size? Well, there it is. Check that out.
So for shopping
I
apps,
think I'm gonna capture that for
for
posterity.
buying more stuff.
And that's a quick look at USDZ and Measure in iOS 12. Next, thank you.
Not sure why they lumped those two
Next,
together.
I'd like to talk about the key technology behind these augmented reality experiences, and that's ARKit. ARKit opens up the world of AR to hundreds of millions of users, making it the world's largest AR platform by far. And we're on a relentless pace of advancement with AR, and that continues today with ARKit 2. Yes,
that's big news.
ARKit 2 delivers advances with improved face tracking, more realistic rendering, and support for 3D object detection and persistence, which enables launching into AR experiences associated with a particular object or physical space, like starting a
This
game
was
built
the
around a physical
rumored
toy,
connection
or having a
between
physical
AR
classroom
experiences
serve
and
as the
multiple
foundation
devices.
for a lesson that was authored in AR. But probably best is the support for shared experiences. Now, this delivers true multi-user augmented reality. You and the people around you will be able to see your own perspective on a common virtual environment. And to help all you developers get started, we created this sample app written in Swift that you'll all be getting today. Now, check out how both players and even a third observer can all experience the
That's kinda
same
cool.
environment
Yeah,
in real
that's
time.
neat.
Now I see the
It's really
application.
fun.
I think that's very cool.
Yeah, it's key because then you're not just you and your
It's not
device.
just you.
It's
It's not a
social.
lonesome experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've also brought in a select few developers into our labs over the last couple weeks to work with ARKit, and they love it. Now, one of them is Lego, and what they've done is so fun, you just need to see it. So I'm pleased to invite Martin Sanders, Director of Innovation of Lego, to the stage to give you a live
nice.
demonstration. Martin.
That's great. Thank you very much. Creating and playing with physical Lego sets brings great joy to millions of children and Lego fans all over the world.
And great pain to the
And now,
feet of their
with
parents.
ARKit 2, we
So
get
this
to
is gonna
explore
eliminate
creative
that.
possibilities like never before and take things beyond the physical.
No more stepping on Lego pieces late at night.
What we try to do is combine physical and digital together to really open up those creative play possibilities. Because our Lego sets are really the start point for all of those children's imaginations. And when we get a
they
chance
just
to really
invented Minecraft.
embed ARKit 2, it takes it to the next level. Let me show you what I mean.
Good point.
Here we have Assembly Square. It's one of our Lego creator sets. And already has so many great details, it's awesome to play with. But wouldn't it be great if we could take things even further? Well now, with
Further than
3D
what,
object
that?
detection,
I hope
we
so.
get to recognize our models and bring them to life.
Oh my God.
It's Minecraft, but a better neighborhood.
And just
Yes.
look at all of those rich details we can now bring into our sets.
This will appeal,
Because when
I
we
presume, to the
combine
Minecraft
physical
set.
and digital together like this, it really opens up those creative play possibilities.
But let me see some play.
And there's so much to do here. If you see these icons above people and objects, well, they represent missions and stories that we can explore.
But let's not
And with
today.
a world as rich and as immersive as this, who wouldn't want to play?
This is a
so let's
very-
add a character.
very
How
partial
about
demo.
This little guy here.
Welcome back. Let's go on an adventure.
Awesome. Let's go on an adventure. But going on an adventure with friends is often way more fun. So Anders, why don't you jump on in here?
I'm always up for an adventure.
Perfect. Because now, with ARKit 2's multi-user support, we get to play with up
I
to
don't
4
know if I
friends
see people-
in the same space.
How long can you hold that iPad
Let's
like
go ahead
that?
and add a few things from our collection, Anders.
Okay. I will add
Don't you think a
bank.
kid would rather play with
here.
Lego itself than...
Very nice,
No.
I like it.
I mean, there's
How
stuff you
about
can do with this
taking
you can't do with Lego.
This for a spin.
Ah, that's cool.
Not if you never show them the Lego and they never know it exists.
They don't know.
All those
What?
rich details
There's a
you can see
wonderful
on the
real
outside.
world of Lego? Mother,
There's a
why did you
3D
never
Lego?
tell me about that?
Yeah, I think I'm going to add.
This is very much
this
like the
guy.
HoloLens
He's definitely gonna keep the
Minecraft
bank
demo.
safe. Oh,
It
look,
is.
my character's hungry. Let's take him over to the bakery.
He wants
Let's see
pretzels.
what they have. Because now with ARKit 2, we get to see inside our physical creations and check out all the details
That's
that were
pretty
hidden
nicely
before.
done.
Got a ballerina, little music session going on. And
I don't see long-term play, though.
Sorry.
I just really don't. It's just
Moving
too hard
on.
to hold
Oh,
an iPad up.
Another
like
play
that
trigger in the
forever.
bakery.
They're,
Put it
Let's
in the
see what happens when I
glasses,
click on
maybe.
this.
are they building or playing in it?
Oh, that doesn't look too good.
Yeah, I don't see the
Anders?
building at all.
Got a
Yeah.
situation. I'm going to need your help over here.
Okay. I've got a fire truck.
Perfect. You put out those
But I
flames.
could see kids doing this. I
Oh
just-
dear. Somebody's got themselves trapped on the roof. So I'm going to use this helicopter.
Yes. Today's
go and,
children really
pick
want
up
their
these
nose glued to the
clowns.
screen, and so it's just another screen to stare
Are you
at.
getting on down there,
I'm
Anders?
almost done.
Great.
But they're
those
not
guys
just
are
staring,
safe.
I guess they're creating. They're not just
And the
consuming.
flames look
Really?
like they're almost
Well,
out.
I mean, not like just watching a YouTube video.
Perfect.
But
We
they're
did
not
it.
making.
Now I'm confused. Is there an actual physical Lego building there? So this is all being done. I see. So
So you
there's a
could play
building.
too.
For our collection.
So
You
you
could
have
play
to
with
buy
it.
some Lego as
Fun
well.
doesn't need to end there.
Yeah,
Because
you could
with
play too.
ARKit 2,
You could build it yourself.
we get to save
Or no.
our entire world back into our physical set and pick up where we left off.
Interesting.
Right, that's awesome. So much fun. But what makes this truly amazing is that with just a single Lego creation and ARKit 2, it really opens up those creative play possibilities. So look out for more Lego AR experiences in the App Store later this year. Thank you very much, everybody.
Isn't that great? So that's
So
our
yeah, you
update
build.
on
So
AR
Patrick Delahanty's saying if you
iOS
build
12.
a building, you get to build
Next,
your own
I'd
building.
like
Then
to
can you
turn to
interact with it? But I
photos.
wonder if you can interact with an arbitrary
over a
building.
trillion
You have to have that
photos are
special
captured
set.
on iPhone each year.
Right, or if you
and
use the special
photos
set to create
is
something
the
else.
best way to relive and share those moments. This year, we're making photos even better, and it starts with search. Search has powerful object and scene recognition. Lets you search for photos based on things like searching for cars, or dogs, or flowers, and it's a great way to explore your library. But in iOS 12, search now starts working for you even before you start typing with search suggestions. It'll highlight things for you like key moments and people that are important to you. Places where you've taken some great photos, and even categories of photos like hiking and water
exactly
sports.
the same named
and
apps.
Search is much more powerful than ever. You can search for places.
The difference
like
is Apple
names. So you could search for
claims they
SF
do this all
MoMA,
in
or even
phone.
a broad category like museum.
This
and photos
isn't being shared
indexes
as much
over
with the cloud.
4
I'm not sure
million
exactly
events by time and place. Things
how
like
much that is
sporting
true.
events and concerts. And so you can search for them and find photos you took at those events. And search is super powerful. You can now search for multiple search terms like surfing and vacation, and even get suggestions
what he
for
says
additional
about
search terms to help you find
it happening
exactly
on
what you're
phone.
looking for.
That's what they
And now in
touted
iOS
last
12,
time.
we have an all-new tab. It's called For You. And with For You, you
some
have
point
all
you
of your
exceed what
memories,
your phone
those
can
great
do.
memory movies, but more like featured photos,
These are the
highlighting
kinds
a
of
photo
things that are
you
often
took
rendered on a server
this
rather
day
than
in
on
past years. And
device.
effect suggestions, for instance, suggesting looping a live photo or applying a new portrait effect to one of your portrait photos. And we even highlight your shared album activity. Now, when it comes to sharing, there are many ways you can share photos, but our focus is on sharing great photos with the people you care about most. And that's why this year in For You, we've added sharing suggestions. So imagine you've gone out for a great dinner with some friends and you took some photos. Well, afterwards in For You, you'll see a suggestion like this to share those photos. If you tap in, you'll see that Photos is even recommending a set of photos that from that set that you might want to share, and suggests who you might want to share them with, based in part by the people that appeared in the photos. When you share them, they're shared at full resolution out of your iCloud photo library. And when your friend receives them, something really magical happens. Their phone searches their libraries for other photos they took at that event and suggests that they share them back to you. So you both can end up with the full set.
Doesn't Facebook already do that and Google Photos?
Facebook, I don't know if Google Photos
I
does
get
that.
suggestions from Google Photos to share
of course, it's
with myself.
private, using
Yes.
end-to-end encryption, and all of those
All right,
smarts
on-device,
are done with on-device
private.
machine learning. So that's your quick update on Photos in
It doesn't
iOS
say
12.
it's entirely on device.
Next,
though.
let's turn to Siri.
I think they're doing some
now, Siri
server-side
is by
stuff. They
far
have
the
to be.
world's most used digital assistant, with over 10 billion requests processed per month. And because Siri works across all your devices, it's always there to help you through your day getting things done. Now, we all know that Siri works with many third-party apps for things like messaging, ride sharing, and payments. But we wanted to make Siri able to do much more for you. And we're doing that by taking advantage of the power of apps with a new feature we call Shortcuts. Now, with Shortcuts, any app can expose quick actions to Siri. Let's look at some examples. Now, say you have the Tile app because you're always losing your keys. Well, the Tile app can expose the option to add a shortcut to Siri. You can assign your own phrase, such as, I lost my keys, would be a good choice. And when you then say it, Siri will automatically activate Tile and show you right in the Siri UI, start ringing your Tile just like that.
So it's like
Really
if this,
great.
then that.
That's fantastic. Yeah, Android is.
Of course, there's so
they
many
kept saying
uses
would
for
be
this
doing
kind of
something
thing.
like
You could
this,
say
but
game time to get your team's schedule from
progressive
TeamSnap,
loading of apps.
or help me relax to kick off a meditation.
and of course, it all
or order my
depends on
groceries,
developers incorporating
or
these
order your
features into their
usual.
apps.
You know, with millions of apps, Shortcut enables incredible possibilities for how you use Siri. Now, as you know,
It's a good way to make Siri
is more than
smarter
just a
without
voice.
having
Siri's
to do
working all
so
the
much.
time in the background to make proactive
You can call on
suggestions for
apps
you, even before you
to do
ask.
stuff they can't
and
do.
now with Shortcuts, Siri can do so much more. So for instance, let's say you order a coffee every morning at Phil's before you go to work. Well, now Siri can suggest right on your lock screen that you do that. You tap on it, and you can place the order right from there.
So this
Or
is
if
the
when
kind of
you
thing
get to the
people
gym, you use
accuse
Aptiv
Google
to
of
track workouts.
being
that suggestion will appear
creepy
right on your lock
doing.
screen.
You're
And
near
this even
Phil's.
works when
It's
you
time
pull
for
down into
coffee. Do you want
search.
one?
You'll get great suggestions. Like say you're running late for
Or
a
do you
meeting.
wanna share this photo
Well, Siri
with
will
the person?
suggest you text the meeting organizer. Or when you go to the movie, Suggests that you turn on Do Not Disturb. That's just being considerate.
Being accused of being creepy.
And remind you to
like
call
these
grandma
features.
on
I
her
find them
birthday.
very
Just
useful.
tap and it'll dial the call for you.
Cortana does this
We think
too,
we're all going to
supposedly.
really enjoy using shortcuts. And so we went a step further. We wanted to let you create your own shortcuts as users of multiple steps across multiple
Remember, Apple bought
applications.
workflow, and I bet you this is their
with a new
incorporation of workflow.
Shortcuts app.
Yeah, this is probably workflow.
So with the Shortcuts app, you could do something like create a shortcut for surf time. And it could go get you the surf report, look up the current weather, get you the ETA to the beach, and even create a reminder for you to put on sunscreen when you get there. Now, it's all done with simple drag and drop steps in the Shortcuts editor right here. It's really easy. Now, to show you how shortcuts can streamline your day, I'd like to invite one of our leaders from our Siri Shortcuts project, Kim Beverett, to the stage to give you a live demo. Kim.
This does look like fun. Like, I would like to.
This is a great feature. Well implemented. This
I am
is
so
killer.
stoked to show you Siri Shortcuts. To do that, I'm going to walk you through my day. So imagine it's the morning, I'm headed to work.
So
and I pick up my
developers will
phone,
add these
and I
features to their
see
apps.
this
You'll be able
suggestion
to
from
create
Phil's
your
Coffee.
own routines.
Siri has learned that I do this most mornings, so now I can just tap on the suggestion, and I see all the details I need to confirm my perfect mint mojito right here on the lock screen without even going into the app.
In the morning?
So let's get
It's
caffeinated.
coffee. but
And I'm done.
But it's got mint in it. Sounds
Fast forward a
disgusting.
little bit.
No rum,
I'm
though.
sitting at my desk at my office.
Of course, you're
and I need
drinking
to know when
hazelnut.
my
I
next
can smell
meeting
it from here.
is.
So
I'll go to the Up
you
Next
might
widget.
like a mint mojito.
And it
think
looks
I
like
would.
I'm running a little
With
late
rum.
for a rather important meeting. So I should probably let someone know. And it looks like Shortcuts is a few steps ahead of me. I could call into the meeting, or I could
Historically,
let the organizer know
these
that
features
I'm running late. I should probably
look
tell
great,
Ari
and
what's
people
up.
really get excited about it.
That looks like
but
just what I
then
wanna say.
they don't do it
Sorry,
because it's a
Ari.
lot of work
I'll
to
send
set this
it.
stuff up, and only a certain, I think, small percentage of geeks really
I
spend the
also
time to
wanna show you how
customize
you
their
can
phone.
add a
This
shortcut
is
to
historically
Siri.
the
So let's
difference
take a
between
look at
Android and
Kayak.
iOS.
I keep
Is that
all of
iOS
my
you didn't
travel
have so many
details in
customization
Kayak.
features, and
Most
people liked
important
Android
is my
because they could
post-WWDC
customize it.
relaxation
This is an
trip to
interesting
Los Angeles. You can
choice
see
for
I've
Apple.
got my flight, my
I
hotel,
like it, but I wonder how
all
many
the
people will
details,
use this.
Everything I need, but what I really want is to be able
It's
to
like
use
3D
this and get this
touch or
information
force touch.
It's the workflow app. It's a nicer interface than the workflow app, but this is clearly
And I can
workflow.
just tap Add to Siri,
Which Apple bought.
record my custom phrase.
Yeah, workflow is always just one too
Travel
many
plans.
things for me to do.
Yes, it's hard work.
And I'm done.
I mean, I like
now,
it.
When I land at the airport,
I
and I'm about
think
to get in the cab,
normal
and I could
people
really
don't want to spend time
address, I
tweaking
can just say
things like this.
travel plans.
But I'm glad they
Kayak
put the
says,
feature in for those who
your
do.
hotel is at 929 South Broadway. You can check in after 3 p.m.
Isn't that cool? It's pretty cool.
I guess.
So I would love to be on that vacation, but I should, I don't know, probably finish this demo. So let's
Google's
head
been
back
trying to do
work,
this
and
without
I
your
can show you how the
intervention,
Shortcuts
which
app
maybe
can
is
help
why
me
it's
with my
considered
creative home.
creepy.
We start in the gallery, where there's hundreds of pre-made shortcuts that you can download.
Yeah, this
or we can
looks a
hop
lot
over to
like
the
If This Then
library,
That.
and I've got a bunch of shortcuts here, but I want to
Wow,
show you my
it
heading
looks
home
exactly
shortcut.
like If This Then That.
You can see that it's just really a series of steps. It grabs my location and my travel time, and it sends
I see. I
my
love
ETA
this
to
kind
my
of stuff,
roommate.
but
Yeah.
It
this
sets
is-
my HomeKit thermostat to 70 degrees, and it turns on my fan. And last, it gets directions home with Apple Maps with the best route to avoid traffic. Now, this is already pretty cool, but I happen to be an NPR News junkie, so I should probably just add that to my shortcut to save me some trouble on the ride home. Let's tap Search. And there's a bunch I can add here, but I can just tap Siri Suggestions. And there it is, Play KQED Radio. Drag this in, drop it, and we're set. I've already added this shortcut to Siri with the custom phrase heading home. So now, whenever I leave work, I can just say, heading home.
You're watching
You will get
live
there in 1 hour.
coverage of
I
Apple's
sent a message to
WWDC
Cheryl.
Keynote 2018.
Your
Leo
thermostat
Laporte
is
with
set
Megan
to 70
Morrone.
degrees, and I turned on the fan, playing KQED radio.
Right?
Are you going to do that?
I already tried to do that with the automation in the Home app, and it has never worked. Like, I have it set to, when I arrive home, unlock my door and turn on my lights. It's never worked.
Yeah.
So if it works, yes, I will try it for sure.
And that's Siri Shortcuts. It works on iPhone and iPad, and of course, you can run your shortcuts from your HomePod
This is an
and
iOS
your Apple Watch.
12 feature.
That's your quick update on Siri.
But automation is
Next,
already in.
let's talk about apps. And to tell you about the latest,
Oh boy,
hand it
the
off
stock
to
app.
Susan. Susan.
The stock and iBooks.
iBooks and stocks. A show today brought to you by IT Pro TV.
Thanks, Craig, and it is so great to be here. I'm
Thank them
excited
for
to tell you
our
about some
support for
great
our coverage
updates
today.
in some of our most popular apps, starting
The
with one of
Stocks
my
app?
favorites, News.
The first one I erased.
So, News is a personalized
can.
feed where you can see all the stories you want to read pulled together from trusted sources. And our top stories are handpicked by the Apple News editorial team
Nathan Oliveris Giles.
to make a great collection of curated content. With our new Browse tab,
They've been actively hiring people.
you can
for that.
discover new
Remember, they brought
channels
texture
and
as well. I wonder if they're going to mention
and
that.
we've made it even easier to jump to your favorites, because that's why they're your favorites, right? News shines on the iPad. We've added a new sidebar, and it's a great way to navigate. It makes it easy and I think fun to dig into the areas you're most interested in. So that's News. Now, we've
No mention
completely
of
rebuilt
magazines.
the Stocks app, and it's got a beautiful
thank
new
God.
design. Of course, you can still
Does
see
anybody use
the
this?
stock prices and the changes at a glance, but we've added spark lines, those little charts that show the stock performance throughout the day. And that's cool, but are you ready? We are so excited to announce we're bringing Apple News to Stocks.
Oh, come on. Who's applauding that?
I'm really excited about that. And the top stories
The
in
people
Stocks
who wrote the program.
features business news, right?
Stocks
Curated
team.
by the Apple News editors. It's pretty terrific. You can tap on any stock to get a more detailed view.
It's
So you
got
can
the
see an
base
interactive
features
chart
of every
that now
stock
includes
site there is.
after hours pricing. And you see relevant headlines from Apple News curated by our Apple News editors. So it looks great. And if you tap on one of those headlines, you'll see the full article
I don't know who this is
without
for.
leaving the app.
If you're serious
And
about
of
stocks,
course,
you're using something
it's
else.
formatted to look gorgeous on the iPhone.
And if you're
Now,
not, you've already
With iOS
disabled
12,
the app.
we're bringing Stocks to iPad.
Oh my God.
You couldn't get the Stocks app on iPad?
It's pretty
before?
great, and we take advantage of the larger display so you can keep your eye on your stocks on the left while you browse through your financial news. It's a pretty great experience.
Next, there'll be
Next
a
up,
calculator
voice
on iPad.
memos.
I
We've
feel like
also
they're really.
completely rebuilt voice
This is
memos
scraping the
to
bottom
make
of
it
the barrel.
even easier to use. And we're bringing voice memos to the iPad for the first time. Importantly, we've also added iCloud support so your recordings stay in sync across all your devices. We think iPad users are just gonna love this.
Oh, there's another
And
bingo card. You're
We
just
think
going to love this.
that iBooks is the best way
not
to
on
discover
mine.
and experience
get a better bingo
ebooks,
card.
as well as audiobooks. And with iOS 12, we're
Which ones did
introducing
you
an
print out?
all-new design. And we think the update is so great,
They're all different ones, huh?
we're calling it Apple Books, a new name.
Apple Books, a
Very
new
dramatic.
name for the old
We
app.
dropped
They're
the
taking
I.
eye away from everything.
One more eye.
Apple Books has some great new features. For example, Reading Now, with a preview that makes it really easy for you to pick up reading right where you left off. And there's
What?
so much more.
They didn't
That's
let you do that
unheard
before.
of.
A new store that makes browsing
Yeah,
through your ebook.
I mean, what?
That's weird.
You mean you had to find your page each time?
We love these
I am
updates, and we
baffled
think
by
you
this.
will too. But we also have a smart and safe way to use your apps in the car. I think you know I'm talking about CarPlay. CarPlay already supports
I'm glad
third-party
iBooks is now
audio
in
and voice
CarPlay.
messaging, voice
I'm
calling,
sorry, Apple Books.
and messaging apps.
Audio,
Probably
wow.
know
Yeah,
that.
that's,
But what you might not know is with iOS 12, CarPlay will also support third-party navigation.
Finally, Waze and Google Maps. That was a big missing feature. Actually, Google only recently added Waze
So now
to
you have
Google
even more choices
to
when you
Android
use
Auto.
CarPlay.
So
That is a really
It might
quick
be a hard
look
thing
at
to
some of
do.
our app dates. And Craig, back to you.
Update.
back to you, Craig.
Now, do you think they're going to talk the timer? Do you think they're going to talk about maybe parental controls or how much time you spend?
Oh, yes. That's the next one, sorry.
Moment to talk about something that's on a lot of people's minds lately.
This is what response
You know,
to this.
iPhone and iPad are some of the most powerful tools ever created for learning,
so you
exploring,
can't put them
and
down.
keeping in touch. But some apps demand more of our attention than we might even realize. They beg us to use our phone when we really should be occupying ourselves with something else. They send us flurries of notifications, trying to draw us in for fear of missing out. And some of us, it's become such a habit that, you know, we might not even recognize just how distracted we become. Well, we've thought deeply about this. And today, we're announcing a comprehensive set of built-in features to help you limit distraction, focus, and understand how you're spending your time.
Both Google and Apple addressing
Balance
this
the many
head-on.
things that are important to you. Now, it starts with do not disturb. There are times of the day, or times when you just don't want to be disturbed. And one of those, of course, is at night. Sometimes you wake up in the middle of the night and you look at your phone, maybe just to check the time, and you're confronted with something like this. Barrage of notifications that spin you up and keep you from falling back asleep.
Android P doesn't
And so
show
we're
any
introducing
notifications when you're in
Do Not
DND.
Disturb during bedtime, where all you'll see is this. Nothing to get you
I find it
spun up.
extremely annoying.
And in the morning,
Save us from ourselves.
Yeah, it's good though. It's good. Again, this is what Android P is already
in
doing.
the morning when you wake up, you're gently eased into your day. You can tap when you want to start confronting those notifications. Now, we've all found ourselves in situations like this. Now, rest assured, he stuck the landing on this one. But now, Do Not Disturb can help. And we made it easier than ever to use Do Not Disturb.
Your
because
kid's
now
falling
we have
off
a
the
great
swing.
new mode where when you press into Do Not Disturb in Control Center, you can set an ending time for Do Not Disturb for when you leave a particular location.
Yeah, that's
or
good.
when an event ends on your calendar. So I think we're all going to be using Do Not Disturb a bunch more. Now, next I want to talk about notifications. Now, notifications help keep us informed and connected to important things that happen throughout the day. And
I know a
we'd
lot
like
of
to
people
give you
just
more
put their phone
control
in airplane
over
mode
how
at
many
night.
notifications
And that
you
has
receive.
the same effect pretty much.
And so we're enabling what we call instant tuning for notifications right from the lock screen. You can press in to a notification, and from there you can decide to send future notifications from that app directly to Notification Center, bypassing your lock screen.
This is good too.
Or
Better
turn them off
control
altogether.
notifications.
And Siri will even help by suggesting that you turn off notifications for apps that you're no longer using. Now, we also wanted to give you help managing large numbers of notifications. So I'm thrilled to announce that we're bringing to iOS support for grouped notifications.
Does Android do group notifications?
Say again?
Does Android do group notifications?
Notifications are grouped not just by app, but also by topic and thread.
Not
It gives you a
like
great
this.
overview of the notifications
It will
you've
do it
received.
by app.
You can tap in and look at a particular group. But of course, just as important, with a single swipe, you can triage a whole group of notifications away. So
Apple's
that's
been playing catch up on notifications for a long time, but I think at this point they're pretty good.
In addition to these great features for
this
helping
looks
you
good.
limit distractions, we wanted to go further. And it's with a feature we call Screen Time. Screen Time empowers you with both insight and control over how you spend your time. And it starts with reports. Every week, you get a weekly activity summary that details how you used your
Android's doing this
iPhone
too now.
or iPad. You tap in and you get to view your full activity report. It's really detailed. You get deep insight on
I've
how
been
much
using an
time
app,
you're spending,
on Android
where
that's
you're
been doing
spending
this for
it,
some time,
and
but I'm
even
glad to
how
see
your
Apple
use
adding
breaks
this.
down during
Well,
the
I've
day.
tried like Moment, but
or
it
the
uses
night.
up so much battery.
Well, and you
get a
can't really do
summary
it on an iPhone as well as
spending in
Apple can.
apps,
Because only Apple has access
how much
to all this
time you're
information.
spending, how often per hour
This
you're
is
picking
great.
up your phone, and
This
what's
is very
drawing
useful.
you in, and what apps are sending you the most notifications.
Oh, very welcome. This
Now,
is very nicely
equipped
done.
with this insight, you can make decisions about how much time you want to spend with your device each day. But we know there are people who would like a little extra help in managing their use of apps. And for them, we've created app limits. So if in your activity report, you see an app where you might want to be spending a little bit less time, Well, you can set your own
Now,
limit.
don't pick on
And then during
Instagram,
the
guys.
day, when you're using the
Although
app,
that's
you'll
the
receive
one
a
for
helpful
me.
notification letting you know time is almost up.
That's great. And Google is doing exactly the same thing with us.
And once you've reached your limit, instead of the app, you'll see this. It's time to move on. Now, we'll let you grant yourself an extension if you want, but we'll give you a reminder later to move along. Now, this
know what
is
this
also
says
in
about
sync
us.
across your iPhone and iPad, so your
We
limits
need these,
apply
but
to your
we do.
total
Yeah,
usage.
some people don't.
We think this is going to be helpful for
many people don't.
Yeah.
But especially for some kids.
You don't have to use them.
And we know this is something that can help families achieve the right balance for them. And of course, it starts with providing your kids with great information so they get an activity report of their own. But as a parent, you get one as well on your device. And based on what you see, you have the option of creating allowances. And
this is a good feature. We've seen third-party devices attempt this. Is that Steven Spielberg?
you have many options. One of them is downtime, time when you want your kids to unplug altogether, for instance, at bedtime. And you can also limit your kids' time in apps by category or by individual app. Now, there's some apps you may want to always allow them to use. For instance, you may want them to be able to get at the phone at all times so they can contact you. Or you may want to give them access to educational apps. And you can also limit access to only movies,
those
apps,
activists,
and websites
shareholders
that you
wanted
deem
Apple to do
age
back in
appropriate.
January, and I'm
Now,
pleased to
this
see
works,
they've
of course,
really
across
responded.
their iPhone and iPad.
Set up
and
from
it
parent
uses
device
family
is key.
sharing, so it's super easy to set up. And you can manage it all remotely from your parental device. And so that are some great screen time and some great features to help you better manage your time.
Of course, the TWiT app will never have that.
Next, I'd like to talk about one of the
This
most
is time well
important
spent.
uses
Time
of our
well
devices, and that's communication. And we'll start
Messages
with
and
messages. Messages has given us fun ways to express ourselves with emoji and now Animoji. And one of the things that make Animoji so fun is how expressive they are. You know, from smiles to frowns to nods of the head and blinking of the eye. Animoji do such an amazing job tracking our expressions. And this year, we're taking Animoji to a whole new level with a breakthrough new technology we call tongue detection.
Oh, Lord.
That's right.
And if you're not
Now,
watching the video,
you can make your favorite
the word
Animoji do
tongue detection, the G
this.
just dropped a little tongue
We're
out.
all going to be sticking out our tongues to our phones in the near future.
Tongue detection.
Now, we're also
We've really
introducing
reached
some great
peak iPhone,
new
and these are
Animojis
features.
that I think you're all gonna love. Like Ghost, Koala,
These are the new emojis approved by the
Tiger.
Unicode Committee.
and
Animoji.
T-Rex.
Oh, these are
The new
Animojis.
Animoji.
Yeah.
We wanted to take Animoji
I like the Ghost.
even further by making them even more personal.
It takes so long to have new ones
So I'm
come out. I
thrilled
mean,
today to announce the arrival of the era of Memoji.
No.
oh, no. It's Bitmoji, right? It's going to be...
Or what Samsung does, you know,
Yeah.
right? With your,
You can
yeah.
create your
There's a
very
Craig
own
Federighi emoji.
personalized
Hopefully, they're all Craig
Isn't this-
Federighi.
The Samsung ones are extremely creepy.
Yeah.
Now,
This doesn't look like
these
Craig, but at
Animoji
least it's
can
not
look
creepy.
like you or the real you.
Oh.
You can have a
We've
mohawk
worked
or
hard
blue
to
hair.
build a deep set of customization
bun.
options to let our customers create an incredibly diverse set of Memoji. It's really incredible what you can create. And we've designed a beautiful new experience to create these Memoji that makes the process fun and easy. Now, to tell you more about it, I'd like to invite one of the managers of our messages and Animoji features, Kelsey Peterson,
if it says
to give you a live demo.
Memoji on
Kelsey.
her card. Product manager Memoji.
I cannot wait to tell you what's new with messages. Let's get started with Animoji. First, you need to meet the newest members of the team. We've got a new cat in town, our tiger. She's so cute. And now, my personal favorite, the koala.
Let's see that tongue detection.
Just getting excited, scrolling through here. They can't all be cute and cuddly, though. So here's our T-Rex.
Bah.
And we have our very own
She picked
friendly
the short straw
little
for this
ghost.
demo.
Kelsey, I've got some bad news for you.
So much fun. And if I swipe right, here's where I can create my very own Memoji. Let me show you just how easy it is. I recently chopped my hair, so I want one that matches the new me. So I've selected a skin color, and now I'm trying to figure out just the right amount of freckles.
So it's not
It's a
doing
real
what Samsung
Goldilocks
does, which
scenario.
is taking a picture and kind of trying to apply
These are just
it.
right.
It's Bitmoji.
Bitmoji does
Okay.
that. Well, there's a
On to
Bitmoji
the
you can
main
use your
event.
picture too.
There are so
But
many
this is-
hairstyles
yeah, this is much
to choose
more-
from.
you do it
First,
all.
I'm going to grab my color, and then, like I
Which is
said, I need
probably
to go a little
better.
bit shorter.
Exactly. The Samsung
All
thing
right.
is creepy.
Right. Why do you want to
Nope,
be?
this
Why
is
do you
the
want
one.
your Memoji to look like you?
Now that I'm all set, I can of course
'Cause it's
select
me.
my eye color.
But I don't need those
And
wrinkles
what's
on my
really
emoji.
amazing is as I'm making changes, the character up above is coming to life. There are tons of options for me to
feel like
customize.
We're living in Wally world.
But what I really
Yeah,
want
like
is a
Wally,
great
not
Wally.
Wally World from
So I'm gonna
No,
come over
Wally.
to
Chevy
anywhere
Chase Wally World.
That's confusing. You're right. A monocle.
Maybe not for today. Think I need 2 lenses. These are the ones. Now that I have frames, I'm going to tint my lenses
Actually,
to make a great
Sketha's
pair
gonna
of
like that.
sunglasses.
It's cool. It's cool. Actually, that's great. I like this. I mean,
Yeah, I send a lot of Bitmoji, and I feel like
do you still?
I do.
Okay,
But I feel like
I
it
think I'm all
annoys
set.
people.
It does. It's
But I
very
still
annoying.
do it.
Yeah.
Which saves my brandly created Memoji right here into the drawer alongside the rest of my team.
All right, that's nice. I
And
like
that's
that.
how simple it is to create your very own Memoji.
And are they available only on
iOS
iPhone
12. Well, yeah, that's part of the problem, right? Or does it send an animated
Now I have a
GIF? It might
brand
send a
new
movie.
feature to introduce you to.
I hope it has to do with that
This wasn't
dog.
even in Craig's slides. We are bringing fun effects into the messages camera. Let's take a look. I have a message here from my partner. It looks like he's informing me that he's bought our dog Ferdinand yet another tiny dog hat. This isn't even the first.
Yet another?
I think this is the perfect opportunity for a response with this new fun camera.
Ferdinand needs a
So
new
I'll
job.
tap to pull up the camera, and then I can see this little star over here on the left. Tapping on that gives me a strip with all sorts of new effects. So I could add things like shapes or text. But let's check out these filters.
It's like Snapchat.
Ooh. So this is comic book. It's really fun. But for a response about a tiny dog hat, I think I'm going to go in a different artistic direction.
Tiny dog hat.
So what I really need to do is add a sticker from one of my favorite sticker packs. Ferdy looked really excited about that new dog hat, so I'm gonna put him right here. And now we have an all-new way for you to use Animoji.
She's been working on this
I can apply
presentation
my
for months.
favorite Animoji right here, live.
And her mom asked her, Kelsey, what are you doing at Apple? She said, Mom, I would love to tell you, but they won't let me.
It's top secret.
It's top secret.
Here's the Memoji I just created, but I actually have just the one. It's of me in a very similar red hat, which is kind of perfect for twinning with my pup. So I'm gonna set up my shot, snap, and send.
All right, you know.
And that's a demo of the fun new effects and messages. Back to you, Craig.
So that's Memoji and some fun new effects.
You think she really sent it to her partner?
No.
Next, let's talk
But
about FaceTime.
I do hope that her dog has a tiny little hat.
I don't think so.
FaceTime is the way that so many of us connect with the people in our lives and share some of our most important
Oh my
moments.
God, there's a little tiny
And it's
Craig
helped us
Federighi
deepen
in my
our
house.
connection with people important to us wherever they are. And of course, it's a fun place just to hang out. Now, this year, FaceTime is going to take a big leap forward because today we're introducing Group FaceTime.
Why do people get excited? This stuff's been around for years on other platforms.
FaceTime with 2 people, 3 people,
This is
actually
House Party.
up
This
to
is
32.
Google Hangouts.
Also,
Oh, wait a minute. 32 people?
And 32 people who use iPhones?
Do you know 32 people?
Setting up a group call couldn't be easier. Just instead of typing one person's name,
nightmare.
you can do
32
many.
people.
You can ring them by tapping audio or video. But we also introduced a great new way because FaceTime is now integrated into messages. So you can quickly go from a group chat you have going directly in to a group FaceTime. And members of the group can join in and drop out at any time. It's really great. Would you like to see it? Well, let's do a demo. Well, I think for our first live demo of group FaceTime, I'm going to contact the folks back in Cupertino. Now, I can just dive into this conversation I have going with the members of the FaceTime team. And it looks like actually they're already on a group FaceTime call.
They're all waiting for you, Craig.
Right
they're all sitting. Yeah. There's a little lag there.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, Craig.
Now check it out. So it's this beautiful FaceTime UI. We have these big, gorgeous tiles right up front where you see some of the leaders of the FaceTime team. And down at the bottom, there's an area we call the roster that contains everybody else. And of course, I'm right there in the lower right-hand corner.
Hey, Craig. Wait, am I on the big screen?
Yes, Lauren, this is not a test. You're in front of 6,000 of your biggest new fans. Set up for Lauren. Now, what you probably noticed is when Lauren spoke, her tile automatically got larger to reflect her prominence in the conversation. This is totally automatic. Hey, Roberto, how's it going back there in
Rapidly entering
Cupertino?
Samsung Keynote
I'd say it's going
territory.
pretty well. And Lauren, sorry for stealing your spotlight.
I like that feature.
This
That's
works,
a nice
of course,
feature.
for people in
Hangouts
the
does
roster
something,
as
but not
well.
as
When they
elegant
speak,
or
they come
beautiful.
forward. Hey, Christopher, you ready to make your big entrance?
You can use it if you don't have an iPhone on Hangouts, though.
Finally, my moment has come. Hello, world.
Now, well done. Now, you can control this too. So if I want to bring Woody front and center, I just double tap. There he is. Now,
he double tap his Woody.
Woody, your baby is performing admirably here.
Thanks,
Is that
Craig.
a picture of Craig Federighi behind him?
I believe it.
It sure is. Now, we have not only all of this, but we've
Taking
also
sycophancy
brought
to a new
fun
level.
effects to the FaceTime camera. I can just tap in and I have access to Animoji, filters, and all of my sticker packs. And everyone else on the call can apply them too.
Oh, so
Wow, now
this is not for
is
business.
the future.
That's
Hey,
weird.
Craig, check this out. I'm a comic book koala, something I've always wanted to be.
That's neat.
I'm glad you've finally been able to express that side of yourself, Roberto. Hey, Tim, is that you?
Yeah, it's me. I signed up to help test FaceTime.
All right. Well, thank you, Tim. Every little bit counts.
Happy to help, and thanks to everyone on the FaceTime team for making it a reality.
From now on, when I fire people at Apple, I'm going to use this.
To call the leadership team.
This is Tim Cook.
Looking forward
You're
to that,
fired.
Of course, what I'm really looking forward
Really
to is
take the
getting
sting
group
out of it.
FaceTime to everyone on iOS 12. Thanks, guys, for a fantastic call. We'll see you back in Cupertino.
I think we should have our meetings like that. Yeah.
I'm going to make the chat room do it.
So that's group FaceTime. It works on iPhone, iPad, and Mac, and you can even answer an audio on your wrist on your Apple Watch. So that's FaceTime and messages, and this is iOS 12. Improved performance, new AR experiences, Siri suggestions, screen time, Memoji and fun effects in the messages camera, and group FaceTime. I hope you like it. I'm going to hand it back to Tim. Thank you.
This TWiT Live special brought to you by IT Pro TV. Prepare your team for the most competitive certifications with over 4,000 hours of on-demand IT training.
We can't wait for everyone to get their hands on it. Next up, we'd like to talk about the Apple Watch.
Ooh. Everything's
When we
dark mode,
began
you notice?
development
That's
of
the
the
new,
watch many years ago,
thing.
we had a vision for just how impactful and essential it could become in our lives. So we worked very hard to create something that you would love and want to wear all the time. And customers do love it. In fact, Apple Watch is #1 in customer satisfaction. And And not just this year, but every single year since we launched in 2015. And growth has been off the charts. Apple Watch grew 60% last year. We're constantly hearing from customers about the many ways that the Apple Watch has changed their lives. And I'd like to share just one of them with you this morning. Mary Dobjan was boating with her husband, John, when due to a medical condition, all of John's muscles went completely limp, and he fell into the ice-cold water. With her arms wrapped around John to keep him from drowning, Mary could not reach her phone to call for help. But with her Apple Watch, she was able to call Siri, or to use Siri to call 911. Rescuers soon arrived and saved John's life.
So if you ever lose all muscular control,
if it wasn't for my Apple Watch, he really would not be here today.
I'll be glad I'm wearing that Apple Watch.
This is just one of the many stories that we've heard about how Apple Watch is impacting people's lives.
Hey, Siri.
They range from
Megan just
getting
fell off
people
the
to be
chair.
more active, to helping users live a healthier life, or even to alerting users
I
to an
think we know
elevated
who's going to have to call 911.
Apple Watch brings
between you and I.
First, you think
right to the wrist. And of course, at the heart of
what
this
is that disease where
is
you lose
watchOS.
all muscular
We're excited
control?
to introduce
I've never heard of that
watchOS 5 today, which brings even more ways for you to stay active and connected. And I'd like to hand it off to Kevin Lynch to tell you all about it.
Kevin Lynch, former CTO at Adobe.
Good morning. You know, stories like that about
became
how Apple
known to
Watch
Steve
is
Jobs when he
supporting
had
people
furious
around the world
fights with him over
in
Flash.
even extreme situations like Mary and John's,
Strong
but also in their
advocate of
daily
Flash.
lives is really super motivating to us
But
as a
won
team.
respect from Steve Jobs, who
And there are
tried to
things
hire
you
him. He's been
do
trying
every
to hire
day
him for a
that
long
shape your
time.
life.
Finally,
and
he did
Apple
move
Watch
to Apple to run
has
the
two
watch
key areas
division.
it's working to help you support those activities every day. First, staying active to increase your well-being and health. And second, being connected to the people and the information that you care most about. We're moving watchOS forward in both of these areas. Let's start with health and fitness. Now, much of the power in the health and fitness features that we put in Watch are really empowered by the investment we do to make sure the data you see is accurate. The data from our custom-built heart rate
Watch
sensor,
told me I'm going to get a
gyro,
badge
GPS are
if
all
I
fairly
exercise
validated.
one more time this month.
Yeah, I think it's like 4 times.
Yeah, it literally said, Leo, you've exercised 3 times this month. One more time, and we're going to give you a badge.
Million calories doing this.
I
We
like the
believe this is the
badges.
largest biometric data collection of its kind.
What do you do with your badges?
And we take this information
Just hold them in
and
my
we
heart.
work to integrate this seamlessly with the user experience. So when you raise your wrist and you look at your activity rings, the information is not only accurate, but it's also meaningful to you.
Takes a little
We
more
really
than
love
raising
hearing
your
about
wrist to
your
look at those.
focus on
You've got to
closing these
tap,
rings.
search,
And we really enable this through a
press.
number of ways in Apple Watch. First, of course, we do daily coaching so you can see what your goals are for the day. We also support celebrations when you achieve your goals. And we have special edition challenges, like the most recent Earth Day challenge that we did. And on a monthly basis, we do monthly goals that are personalized to you. And of course, the
That's what
Activity
we're
app
talking
also
about.
supports activity sharing, which has become one of the most popular features of the Activity app.
You've only walked
Many of you
400
love the
steps today,
excitement
Leo.
of good old-fashioned
know.
competition, though.
Sad.
So in watchOS
Or
5,
maybe
you can challenge any of your
I don't wear my
activity-sharing
watch
friends
every
to a 7-day
freaking moment.
competition whenever you would like. And if they accept, you each try to win the week by closing your rings and earning points. You earn 1 point for each
You ever
percent of a
think of
ring that you
that?
close.
Yes, because you told
And
me.
while you're in the middle of a competition,
Maybe
your
I
progress
put it on
notifications
after
are updated to not
I
only
walked
show you
a
the
couple of
progress your
miles.
friends
Maybe.
making, but also where you stand in the competition. And when you win, you receive a new award. We're really excited about this edition, and if you're competitive, it gives you a whole new way to enjoy the Activity app. Now, when you're doing...
Do you ever get like the notification that you've done something when you're just sitting? Like you've reached your move goal and
Yeah,
you're just
because
sitting?
you just moved a little.
And they'll have custom algorithms
Some of us
to measure
have
things like
simpler
calorie
goals than
burn,
others.
distance, elevation gain, and when you're swimming, it even counts
Yeah,
laps
all
and
the
detects
time.
what swim strokes
Oh,
you're
you
using.
stood up. Congratulations. That's the 12th time you stood up
Your
today.
favorite gym equipment. We're really excited to bring more enhancements to workouts in watchOS 5, starting with a new workout type for yoga. Now, this works primarily from your heart rate.
He looks
And
like
we
he does
calibrate
hot
this
yoga.
to your fitness level through the rest of your day. So now you can more accurately track those yoga sessions, including those intense vinyasa sessions.
It didn't really ever do yoga, did it?
Well, you can do, but it just, I don't know what it does.
Now it's measuring heart rate anyway.
And elevation gain,
Oh,
so you can
hiking.
more accurately get exercise credit while you're hiking in steep terrain or really long stages. And Apple Watch has become a really great running companion, especially now that we've added GPS and cellular and music
Oh, I get
streaming.
it. He's on a
We're
really
making
long
this an even
stage.
better
Yeah.
experience
Oh,
now
I
for
was trying to
training
figure
runs
that
and
out.
races. In addition to current and average pace, you now have the option to keep track of your rolling mile pace, which is how fast you ran the immediately preceding mile.
Well, that's helpful.
You can also now set a custom pace alert, so your Apple Watch will tap you when you're above or below the pace that you've set.
That's good.
Yeah.
And finally,
Although I
runners
think
will now
real
get
runners don't
cadence,
wear Apple
so you can see
Watches.
your
They
current
tend to
steps
wear
per minute.
Garmin, yeah.
We're really excited for runners.
But
to
Serious
try
runners.
these
I'm
out.
not a serious runner, and I'd like to know what my
But that's
mile
good,
pace is.
yeah, for casual runners. Joggers, we used to call them.
Now, there's sometimes when
Casual
you forget
runners.
to start a workout on Watch, but you've started working out. And to solve this now, we're adding automatic workout detection.
Ah, finally.
Yes.
This is something I have
'Cause
in my
I forget.
Samsung S3 that I love, and I've been asking for
Your
Yeah.
Apple
this.
Watch will now offer to start tracking a workout if it senses that you're beginning one.
Thank
and
you.
even if you press start sometime after you began working out, you'll get retroactive credit for the workouts that you did.
That's what I need, retroactive credit. Because it feels like you haven't, if you didn't start a workout, you weren't
Yes.
really working out.
No, totally
These
want
start
this.
alerts will support all these great workouts on Apple Watch.
Running,
This is
walking,
genius.
Now, when you
rowing,
reduce the intensity of
swimming.
your movement or your heart rate decreases, but you forget to end your workout, of course, Watch will also detect that and suggest that you stop.
I don't want that, because sometimes I like eat breakfast and I still get
Have you
extra.
finished? Maybe I'll do more.
All these new
Not
features,
done.
activity competitions, the new yoga and
Just
hiking
resting.
workout, new features for runners and automatic workout detection are all enabling you to more accurately track your
Presumably this
workouts
is
and stay
watchOS
motivated
12,
while you do.
and I
Now
presume
let's
this
talk
fall.
about being connected.
It's not watchOS 12, is it?
Apple Watch enables you to remain in the moment
watchOS
while also
4.
easily connected
Oh,
to
yeah.
the people and information that you care about.
They need to fix that.
And the introduction of cellular made this even better. You can stay connected even when you're going out for an evening, running some errands, or even going for a swim. Or stay in touch when your phone might not be easily available to you. And staying connected with people you love is something that our customers love about Apple Watch. You can easily make or receive a phone call, and you can hear the emotion and tone on the other end of the voice as you talk in real time. Or you can use messages to have impromptu, short conversations with loved ones in a message thread. In watchOS 5, you'll have an entirely new way to communicate on your watch. That's real-time voice, but with the spontaneity of short messaging.
Huh?
Did you steal my chips?
Oh, it's like walkie-talkie.
Maybe.
It's like next,
I
like
cannot
push
wait
to
until you
talk.
go to college.
That's a great idea.
Introducing walkie-talkie.
That's a great idea.
We've had a lot of people ask us about that.
Really? Yeah, people missed that feature. The old, what were they called?
This
those
is a new
phones?
app on
that
Apple
Sprint
Watch.
bought the company.
It's a fun,
put
easy
it
way
out
to
of
talk with
business.
friends and family. Let's take a look at
Yeah,
how
but
it
there
works.
was it
Tel?
First, you choose who you'd like to
That's
enable
it.
walkie-talkie with.
Very good.
And it suggests some people that you often communicate with, so you can easily add them. Now, the first time that you do this,
It's even
your friend will
Nextel
receive
yellow.
a one-time request to allow a
They know.
walkie-talkie connection with you. If they accept,
I'm
then
doing
you can
this right
speak to
now.
each other with walkie-talkie.
Why can't I get this right now?
And to do this, you just press to talk.
I'm going to totally do
and then your
this with
friend
you
can
all
hear
the
your
time.
voice, just like
Did you
a
steal my
walkie-talkie.
chips?
And they're going to feel a haptic and hear a beep beep sound right before your voice comes out.
This is great.
This new watch-to-watch connection works over cellular or Wi-Fi. It has really high audio quality, and it's a lot of fun. We can't wait for you to try this out.
This
That's
is
walkie-talkie.
brilliant. I never thought of this, but obviously you said people have asked.
Yeah,
for it.
we have. And
Wow,
we've
what a
like
great
kind
idea.
of MacGyvered them through different apps.
Introduce the Siri watch face, which presents the right information to you at the right time. And Siri does this using machine learning, so it's going to get better at predicting your actions over time by combining inputs like the time of day, your location, your daily routines, or which apps you use when. We're making some great enhancements to the Siri watch face now. First, we're adding new content. So now you can get live sports scores, you can get commute time home or to work, or you can see your heart rate, for example, after a workout, or your resting heart rate. And we're also adding Siri Shortcuts. Those shortcuts you saw coming to iOS 12 are also going to be available in watchOS. So in addition to getting relevant information, you'll also receive predicted shortcuts right on the Siri watch face. So at a wrist raise, you'll be able to directly do things like turn on your leaving home scene, or start an outdoor walk, or play your favorite morning playlist. And these shortcuts appear based on whether you typically do those actions at those times. So super easy now to just tap and do those actions. Also, for the first time, you can now use third-party apps on the Siri watch face.
Yay.
So now you can see both relevant content and shortcuts from your favorite apps.
I love the Siri face, but I need more customization. That's great. You know, you can scroll the crown
so if you always
to
go
see
running
more
with
of
Nike
the
Plus
Siri.
Run Club
I didn't know that
at a
for a
certain
long
time,
time.
or you're logging your meals with Lose
Took me
It,
a while
or
to
you use
figure
City
that out.
Mapper to find your commute home. You just raise your wrist and tap. It's that easy. So new content, support for shortcuts, and third-party apps making for an even more powerful Siri watch face. Now, currently, to talk to Siri, you raise your wrist and you say, "Hey, Siri." And when you think about this, it's quite a strong signal when you raise your wrist and talk to your watch. It's kind of like when someone's standing right in front of you. You don't need to say, "Hey," because you have their attention already. So we're bringing this same social cue to Siri on the watch. So you no longer need to say, "Hey, Siri." You just raise your wrist and talk to Siri.
That's a problem.
Well, you probably can turn it off if you want.
Don't you think
Now
you
we're
raise your
also
wrist
bringing a number of
more?
improvements to notifications.
Yeah, like to look at what time it
which
is.
are now more actionable and interactive.
So
for example, with this notification from
to see how that works.
you can check in and
Because
share
you're
your flight
always looking at the
details
time
right
and
from the
talking.
notification. After you finish a ride with Didi, you can scroll down, you can rate your ride and pay with Apple Pay right there
this is
in the
good.
notification. And with this one from Yelp, that your table is ready, if you need a bit more time, you can extend the
Love
reservation
that.
out a bit just
Love
by
that.
tapping here. So super easy now to interact right in place inside
See more
notifications.
apps do that. That's great.
We've also improved our message notifications. Today, if someone sends you a web link, you aren't able to view it on your wrist. With watchOS 5, we've integrated WebKit, so now you have the ability to view web content in mail or messages. You can even tap on that link.
Now you can be hacked on your watch.
To easily view things like menus here.
Yang
And while we
Tseng
think
is
full
very good
browsing
dim
doesn't make
sum.
sense on your wrist,
Highly
there are
recommend.
times you get content
have
you'd like
been
to see it
there.
right in the moment, and now
Steve
you'll be able to
Place
do
in
that in
San Francisco.
watchOS 5. And the contents can be formatted for the small screen, and where reader mode's available, it uses that on the watch. So WebKit on watchOS.
Nice.
It'd be super annoying to get it. You can look at this on your iPhone.
Now with watchOS 4, we introduced an entirely new way to listen to music while you're on the go. You can stream 48 million songs on your wrist with Apple Music, or you can listen to automatically synced and curated playlists. And now, with watchOS 5, we're giving you even more to listen to.
Fantastic. Good news for podcasters. How are they
That's
doing
right.
that?
The Apple Podcast app is coming to Apple Watch.
Nice.
Upcoming episodes from subscribed podcasts will be automatically synced to your watch.
Very
so you can
nice.
get them right
Connected
there.
podcast.
Or you can just ask Siri to stream a podcast for you, and it'll start playing. And playback resumes across all your devices, so you can continue just where you left off.
Yay.
So that's podcasts.
Thank you.
Now, those are the great new features coming in watchOS 5 to stay connected with people and information that you care most about. Interactive notifications, web content, new content and shortcuts in the Siri face, podcasts, and of course, walkie-talkie. Now, we'd like to show you this stuff live in action, and we thought we'd increase the challenge a bit in our live demo
Actually,
here
it's more
today
interesting than the
to
stuff
keep it
they announced
interesting.
for iPhone.
So Jules, who helps lead our fitness experiences, is actually going to do the demo while biking.
I hope on a
So
real
Jules
bike, not a
has
stationary
expertise
bike.
and coaching, and she knows how to move and demonstrate, motivate, all at the same time. Take it away, Jules.
Thank you, Kevin. I've got some great stuff to show you that I think you're really going to love. And bonus is I get to work on closing my rings while I do it. So first, I'm super excited to show you how easy it is to start a workout with GymKit. I just tap to connect and accept on the watch. And now I can control and start the workout right here from the console on the bike. All of my data between the watch and the bike is in sync, and all of my workout metrics are accurate. Now, I wouldn't typically be trying to demo things for you and sneak in a workout at the same time, but I want to show you activity competitions. And to do that, I need to keep moving. This morning, I got this notification, and it says, your competition with Jay is down to the last day,
Jay
and it's a close
Blahnik,
one.
of course.
Have you got what it takes to win?
I wouldn't want to
Have I
compete
got
with
what it
Jay
takes?
Blahnik.
You bet I do. But if I scroll down, I can see that Jay has moved ahead of me by a couple of points, and that's not okay because this thing ends tonight. So I think I'm gonna add a little resistance to this workout here and work to earn as many points as possible and move ahead of Jay by the time this demo's done. I can simply tap here and send him a little smack talk to let him know I'm coming for him. Let me show you interactive notifications because I have dinner reservations tonight that I made through Yelp. If all goes well here, I'm gonna go out with my girlfriends from work to celebrate. And because we all know that Jay's gonna lose this competition, Maybe I should invite him along so it can be his treat. Now I can simply add to the number of guests and confirm right here in the app without ever having to open it. It's that simple. Now in watchOS 5, notifications from apps are smartly grouped together. And here are a couple messages from my friend Catherine. We're trying to get to a yoga retreat this summer, and it looks like she sent me a link. Now I can tap it here and see if she's found somewhere great for us to go. Oh yeah, this looks beautiful. I'm already in, but I could continue to scroll through the site, maybe read a little bit more about the retreat, even check the dates to make sure that they work. And I can do all that right here from my wrist. Let me show you the enhancements that we've made to the new Siri watch face. At the top here, you see the workout that I'm in right now. And when I'm ready to get back to it, I can just tap. Next up is Glow Baby, because it's about this time each day that I check the app to see if my husband has logged our 1-year-old's nap. Oh, good job, baby. He slept 2 hours. And you parents know that good naps equal good nights, so I'm looking forward to that. All right. As I scroll through my day, I can see my next meeting. I can see traffic and directions to places that I'm going later today. Here's that dinner that Siri found in my calendar. And waiting for me at the end of my day is a shortcut to my evening meditation with 10% happier. Nice. Now, I want to check back in on this competition.
She does.
I thought it might be a good idea to get a little moral support from my #1 fan. And you heard Kevin say how walkie-talkie is so great for staying in touch with close friends and family. So I set my daughter up with walkie-talkie.
The baby?
So that she can help demo what it's like to receive one. And maybe give me a little bit of love up here.
Is the baby's name Glow or is the app name Glow?
Mommy, I see you on TV.
Isn't that fun? How am I doing?
So good. I know you'll beat Uncle Jay. #Mommy for the win.
Thanks, Peach. I love you.
Her baby talks really well.
Wow, that's good for a baby. Give her another bottle.
And that's how walkie-talkie works.
I want walkie-talkie.
All right.
I want that
The
now.
time is now to check in on this competition and see if I have done enough to pull ahead. I'm going to tap into activity and swipe over to see the score. Oh, yes. Sorry, Jay. But the day is still young. Thanks, everybody, and back to you, Kevin.
Way to go, Jules. So in watchOS 5, we've enabled even deeper integration on the watch for apps, enabling them to work right in the moment. And apps can include interactive controls within notifications, so you can quickly do more without even opening an app, like extend your parking with Pay by Phone. And with shortcuts, there's also new opportunities for third-party apps to appear on Apple Watch right on the watch face. You can tap on a shortcut on the Siri face to order coffee, rent a bike, or pick up where you left off in a workout. You can even use your custom Siri commands that you created on your phone to speak on your watch. And for native apps building rich experiences, we've improved the Workout API for greater performance, and we've added the ability for third-party apps to play background audio. This enables you to easily sync things, of course, like audiobooks, favorite playlists, guided meditations, right to your watch, and they'll be able to play continuously in the background. Now, there's so many other features coming in watchOS, including things like the ability to customize the button arrangement in your control center, or you can add an air quality complication to your watch face. But one really exciting one is student ID cards. You're going to have the ability to add your student ID card to Wallet on your iPhone and Apple Watch. And this works by simply holding your watch near a reader. Anywhere you can use your student ID cards
to say
on
they're
and off
really
campus,
making some progress
you can
with
get
this
access
watch.
to
It's getting
places
more and more
like
useful.
your dorm or the library or events on campus. You can even pay for things like snacks or laundry or dinners. And this works with your watch or your phone, and it will be available this fall, starting with these universities, and will expand to more campuses over time.
I want to be able to unlock my phone.
Your alma mater.
I could go back to 1994 and open my door with my Apple Watch.
Now, this is also Pride Month, and we're really excited to introduce an all-new Pride Edition watch band. And we didn't stop there. We made a beautiful new face that matches perfectly with the band.
Now, when do you get that? I've been looking for that. I don't understand what I have to do to get that.
The
face or
and
the band?
Are available today. And if you'd like to use the new
Available
Watch
today.
Face, you can choose to add it from the Watch Face gallery starting at noon today.
At noon.
Available today.
That's some of what's coming in watchOS.
Available
Live.
today. We have it available today. Bingo.
Thanks, Kevin.
Huge.
Thank you, Kevin.
Actually, I'm in all
watchOS
seriousness,
just keeps
I
getting
feel like
better and
they
better.
really are making that
We're
watch
excited for you
more
to try
useful.
all of these
I
great
agree.
new features to help you stay more active and connected. Next up is Apple TV.
And
Last
this will be
September,
interesting, I think.
We introduced Apple TV 4K, and our customers love it. Since its introduction, the Apple TV business has grown an incredible 50%. Today, we've got some great new enhancements to Apple TV 4K and tvOS, and we think you're going to love them. So I'd like to invite Apple TV lead designer Jen Foltz to the stage to tell you all about it. Jen?
Thanks, Tim. Apple TV is built on an incredible platform, tvOS. And tvOS is built
Lots of women on
specifically for the
stage.
living room to make it easy to enjoy your favorite TV shows, movies, apps, and games. Now, as Tim mentioned, last September, we introduced Apple TV 4K with the goal of bringing the highest quality cinematic experience right to your home. It offers both 4K and high dynamic range, including support for HDR10 and Dolby Vision. Time said the new Apple TV is a high-fidelity powerhouse. And to ensure you can enjoy this beautiful experience with as much content as possible, iTunes offers the largest collection of 4K HDR movies.
I bought a movie from 1995 the other night, and I was so pleased to see it was
And we've
HDR
upgraded your
4K.
previously purchased movies to 4K HDR for free on all available titles.
It is really
There are
becoming a good
also-
place to get
Thank
content
you.
for
There are
4K
also
TV.
many 4K and HDR TV shows available from popular services like
Like
Amazon
Netflix.
Prime Video and Netflix. And we know what makes for an amazing cinematic experience is not just great picture quality, it's also incredible sound. So Apple TV 4K is bringing you the latest in audio technology.
Oh, Atmos. Oh, very nice.
Atmos.
Now I have to get an Atmos speaker system.
With Atmos, you get room-filling sound, the perfect complement to the stunning visuals of Apple TV 4K. Now, what makes Atmos so special is that unlike a traditional surround sound setup where sound is assigned to channels like the left or the right, Dolby Atmos has the ability to completely immerse you. Atmos moves sound in three-dimensional space, creating an experience with powerful audio that flows all around you. It puts you right in the center of the action. All this with a home theater
So
setup
this is a
as
little
simple
catch-up, both the
as a
Amazon
Dolby
Fire
Atmos
TV and the
enabled
Ultra
soundbar
version
and
of
an
the
Apple
Roku
TV 4K.
Atmos. But this
In
is,
fact,
I
Apple
think,
TV
fairly
4K
important.
is the only streaming player to be both Dolby Vision and Dolby Atmos certified.
Ah, all right.
Can I listen to my Apple TV through my HomePod?
And this fall, iTunes will be bringing you the largest collection of
Let's not go
Atmos
crazy
content anywhere. And just like with 4K HDR, your iTunes libraries will be upgraded to include Dolby Atmos on all
Fantastic.
supported titles for free.
Fantastic. Now I do have to get those Atmos speakers.
Now, of course, these movies and so much more are available in the Apple TV app. The Apple TV app is the center of your video experience.
Now that
A
Netflix is
single
in
place
there,
to
I've been
find
using it.
and watch what you love
And I'm very
across
happy
your
with it.
favorite apps. It's on Apple TV, iPad, and iPhone, where you can find not only on-demand TV shows and movies, but also live content, including sports. The Apple TV app now offers a huge range of live sports. And we've added live news to make it even easier to stay current. The addition of live sports and news providers brings the coverage of the TV app to over 100 video channels, giving you a massive selection
So this
of
is
content.
Apple's vision
all in
for the
one
TV
place.
app is finally
With
starting
all
to
this,
come to
Apple
fruition.
TV is the best box to
They
connect
really
your
want this. They
And
she
that's
just
now
said it.
more
They
true
want it
than
to
ever.
replace the cable box.
As more and more cable companies
The best box to
fundamentally
connect
shift
to your
how video
TV.
gets to your TV.
Mhm.
This typical cable box is becoming a thing of the past.
This is Apple's
as
ambition.
these
It's
companies
interesting.
embrace internet-based delivery.
Microsoft wanted to do it, couldn't.
And many of them share our vision of Apple TV as the one device for live, on-demand, and cloud DVR content. And we've already started working with partners around the world to make this a reality.
Not Comcast.
In France, we're working with Canal Plus. Almost a third of French households subscribe to Canal services. And their subscribers can now choose Apple TV to access more than 100 live channels.
Well, that's what we've been waiting for. Is that on your bingo card?
French
TV?
French Open in 4K.
No.
In Switzerland, we've partnered with Salt. Salt just launched a new TV service with more than 300 live TV channels, and it's available exclusively on Apple TV. And I'm really excited to announce that here in the US, Charter Spectrum will be coming to Apple TV late this year. That means that up to 50 million homes will be able to choose Apple TV to access all their live channels and thousands of on-demand programs. And they'll be able to use Siri and the TV app to get access to their TV service, not only on Apple TV, but on iPhone and iPad as well.
You got to get Comcast to make this
Now,
work.
with nearly any cable subscription, you can get access to dozens of video channels, like ESPN, Showtime, NBC, and many more. But it used to be really painful to
Comcast
set
has its
up,
own X1
having to
platform
authenticate
that's
each
trying to
app
duplicate
individually.
this feature
I'm sure
set,
all of you have
and,
seen that 6-digit
I
code.
just
You have
don't-
to go online
I
and
just
type
don't see
into a
them
web
ever
browser.
going along with Apple.
Well, last year we introduced single sign-on. Enter your cable credentials only once, and we unlock all of the apps your subscription supports.
Thank God.
Well, now we're making it even easier with zero sign-on.
Okie dokie. Of course, your cable company has to cooperate.
So now, if you're on your TV provider's broadband network, we'll securely and automatically unlock all the supported apps included with your TV service.
Are you?
No credentials needed.
I use
It
Comcast,
just works.
but I wonder if this will
Charter
work.
Spectrum.
It's going to be another Charter.
This is really awesome.
Who else?
And Charter Spectrum will be the first to support
Yeah.
zero sign-on, and we'll be adding
You're
more
never going to
providers
see
over time.
Comcast.
We're
or
also
Cox
giving you even
or-
more options for ways to control your Apple TV. For example, you can get quick access on your iPhone, where Apple TV users will get the Apple TV remote automatically added to Control Center. And for those that have installed home control systems, we're working with the leading providers so that you can use their remotes to control your Apple TV, even including support for Siri. At Apple, I love working with an amazing team, designing for a product that I enjoy every day and on the biggest screen in my home.
About an hour and a half in, we still have macOS to go.
I get to watch all my favorite movies, TV shows, and more. Over 48 million songs, including the best metal on Apple Music. All of my photos,
Gosh, I didn't take her
videos,
for
and
a
memories,
metalhead.
as well as thousands of apps and games that many of you have built. And Apple TV brings some amazing views right to my living room
Do love
with
that.
aerials.
Do love those.
Now, one of the questions I get asked the most about aerials, especially by my family members, is where is this? Well,
Yes.
this fall, with just a
All
tap
the
of the
time.
Siri remote, you'll now be able
Oh,
to
hallelujah.
see every aerial location.
That's been driving me nuts. There you go.
It is.
This one is a new
you
one.
can
I
even
really
swipe
like it.
between locations,
Glacier.
so you can see even more. And today, I have an incredible new location to share with you. For the past year, we've been collaborating closely with an amazing partner, filming some stunning footage from around the world with a very unique vantage
Don't
point.
say Marvel. Don't say Marvel.
And here it is.
Ooh, Earth. One of my favorite planets.
I don't know, it's in my top 3.
This is filmed by astronauts aboard the International Space
That's
Station.
cool.
That is.
You can see Sicily just off the boot of Italy, and check out that Mediterranean Sea. The blue is just phenomenal. So here's a fun fact. The space station makes an orbit every 90 minutes. So that means they get 16 sunrises and sunsets every day. And with all those sunsets, nighttime can be particularly stunning, the way those urban
you get
areas pop
real-time,
with light. Here we are flying over South Korea toward Japan.
Be nice if it
You can see Tokyo
showed you
coming
the
into view at the
current view.
top, some distant stars, and even the upper reaches of the Earth's atmosphere, which is that orange band enveloping the Earth. And here's one that might look a little more familiar. This is the Northern California coast heading southward. You can see Lake Tahoe surrounded by snow caps and the San Francisco Bay. These are truly incredible and offer such a unique perspective on the world. I'd like to give a huge thanks to the International Space
That's
Station,
gorgeous.
National Lab, and CASIS for all
Fantastic.
their help in making this a possibility.
I want to see Elon's Tesla in one of them. That's great.
These are going to look incredible at home in 4K HDR. So that's tvOS. Apple TV gives you amazing picture and sound.
I wonder
with
if they'll mention
4K,
content.
HDR, and now Dolby Atmos.
Yeah,
And the
or
Apple TV
subscription.
app is
Bring-
the center of your video experience.
Really interesting
Available
how
on Apple TV,
limited
iPad, and
the
iPhone.
range
It's the
of
one
things they're
place
showing.
to
I mean, it
find
really
all your
is the
favorite
new
TV
operating
shows,
systems. That's
movies,
it.
sports, and news. And with that, I'll hand it back to Tim. Thank you.
So here's what we're going to do. I know Tim Cook's coming on the stage. I'm going to pause the tape. Pause for a moment so I can mention our great sponsor, and you will not miss a second of this. So we're freeze framing here. Tim is halfway out on the stage, and we'll be right back to the stage and more of WWDC. But first, a word from the great folks at IT Pro TV. They sponsor this entire show. Prepare your team for the most competitive certifications with over 4,000 hours now of on-demand IT training. They add 125 more hours every week. It's engaging, it's fun, it's entertaining, and it's everything you need if you want to get a job in IT, if you want to keep your job or get a better job in IT. Things like CEH version 9, the Certified Ethical Hacker Cert, CISA, CCNA Security, CompTIA's A+. That's a big one if you want to be an IT fix-it guy. Kali Linux, if you want to be a pen tester, and a lot more. Yeah, they cover everything. You can stream IT Pro TV's courses live and on demand. There's no need to send your staff off-site for expensive training. Get the team portal. You'll be set. And by the way, this is not one of those voiceover slide snooze fests you see in so much IT training. This is fun. These guys are great trainers. They know their content. They make it engaging. And you can watch it anywhere on your Apple TV, your Roku. They've got apps for iOS and Android, your desktop, your Fire TV. Put it on your big screen, put it on your phone, listen in the car. And almost by osmosis, you're going to gain so much information. Now, if you're getting the team portal, this is really fantastic. You'll get control over your team's schedule. You can track your team's results via the Pro portal with metrics like logins and viewing time and courses viewed and tracks completed. It is a great way to keep your team going. Some of the biggest, best companies use IT Pro TV to keep their IT professionals on their toes. Go to go.itpro.tv/WWDC. You can learn more about itpro.tv team solution, request a free team trial, and sign up for an individual monthly membership. In fact, it's a really good deal. 7-day free trial. Go.itpro.tv/WWDC. Use the code WWDC. You get 30% off, not just for the first month or first year, but as long as you stay active. 30% off. Go.itpro.tv/WWDC. Offer code WWDC. Flexible training, binge-worthy content. ROI proven. We want to get back to the stage at WWDC, but stay tuned because I want to tell you about a free offer that IT Pro TV just decided to do. That's really great for people interested in Macs. Back to Tim Cook on the stage at WWDC.
Of all Apple products. For more than 30 years, the Mac has empowered people to create
Tim's
all
reassurance
kinds of amazing
speech.
things.
We still love the Mac.
From the personal to the professional.
You're not feeling a lot of
Today,
love.
we're excited to take Mac a huge leap forward.
Oh dear, what?
The next version of macOS is chock full of new features inspired by pro users.
Not that huge.
But designed for everyone. I'd like to bring Craig back up to talk about it. Craig?
Hello again. It's true that macOS is the heart of what makes a Mac a Mac. And we want as many Mac users as possible to have access to our latest software. And that's why 6 years ago, with the introduction of OS X Mavericks, we began offering our macOS updates free for Mac users. And 2013 was also the year that we first introduced our California naming theme. Now, after spending a year by the ocean, we not only modernized the look and feel of macOS, but we headed to the mountains with macOS Yosemite. Now, as you may be aware, our naming of Mac releases is handled by our crack marketing organization. And as you probably noticed, they went on a 4-year mountain-bound bender. In El Capitan, we added Metal, our groundbreaking graphics technology. In Sierra, we brought Siri to the Mac and extended our capabilities and continuity. And last year, with High Sierra, we focused on deep technology, preparing the Mac for future innovation. Well, this year, we've made some striking changes to macOS. And we've left the high country for a place entirely different but no less beautiful here still in California. And I'd like to take you there now.
There's the dunes.
Our next release of macOS is macOS Mojave. Now, Mojave is beautiful during the day, but what really captured our imagination was the beauty of the desert at night. And this inspired one of our most distinctive new features, and I'd like to show it to you now. So here we are live in macOS Mojave, and I'd like to show you a new side of Mojave. We call it dark mode.
Ah, very nice. Professionals will like this for photo editing and things like that. This is welcome. I mean, it's a small change, but
now, as you see,
welcome.
Dark mode is not just about the dock or the menu bar. It extends to your Windows Chrome, your sidebar, and even the content of the windows. And it's so great for pros. It makes photographic content absolutely pop off the screen. It's just gorgeous. So nice. And this is great not just for photography, but when working on presentations or documents. It's also great doing ordinary things if maybe you're working in a dark environment. You just look at calendar, even
so
mail.
Dark.
In dark mode.
It's the darkest of the dark.
And I think some of us are going to want to run dark mode just because it's so cool. I mean, your emoji look great. Your photos
You spend more than
great.
a minute on this. You really spend too much time.
Check out your album art and music, or your For You feed in Apple Music. But I think one audience that's going to especially appreciate dark mode are some of you here in this room, our developers, because Xcode looks fantastic in dark.
Oh, come on. My God. Every code editor ever written
Whether it's your
supported
source
dark
code
mode
or even
since the beginning of
interface builder,
time.
all of its inspectors, they just look fantastic in black. And that's a quick look.
Apple prevents
at
you from
dark mode.
customizing the OS and then gets
Now,
applause
we were
for adding
so inspired
one
by
more
this
theme.
changing desktop wallpaper that we decided to add a new feature to Mojave that I think you'll enjoy. It's called Dynamic Desktop. And when you're using it, your desktop actually subtly changes throughout the day, from morning to afternoon to evening. It's really cool. Now, there's much more
exactly
in Mojave
functionality,
that I'd
but
like to share with you through demos, and it starts with the desktop. Now, the desktop is so crucial to how many of us use our Macs. When we have files that we're actively working on, we often put them on the
Apple might
desktop.
have to rethink
but the result can be
its Keynote
a
strategy
desktop
at
that looks
this
something like this.
If they don't have a
And
big
so now in
announcement,
Mojave, we have a really
I don't know if they
great
need
solution.
a big keynote like
And we
this.
call it
all it does is
desktop
it serves to make them feel like, I don't know, they're overhyping something minor.
Like a ruler?
Yeah, like a
The
ruler.
contents of your desktop are automatically
Do a keynote when you have
arranged
something
into
big to
these
say.
stacks. And they can be arranged by kind, by date, or even by tag. And they're really easy to use. You just click on them, you can see all the contents in the stack, you can double click to open a document, and put it away. And they stay organized. So for instance, if I bring forward mail, maybe I drag an image out, I want you to watch what happens, because the image flies right into the right stack. Now, you can also
so they
scrub
put
your
folders
stacks.
on the desktop.
So for instance, I'll just scrub across this stack. You see I can select between different
photos. It's not a
photos.
folder, it's a stack.
Pick one up. Actually, let me just hide mail here. Mid-drag, got a little excited with my with all of my stack action.
I don't blame you. This is pretty damn exciting,
So I can just drag this out and drop it in just like that.
Wow.
And that's a quick look at stacks. Now, we've also brought some great new changes to the Finder. I'd like to show them to you now. Now, it starts with a new view. We all enjoy using icon view, list view, there's of course column view, but now we've added an all-new view called gallery view. Has a big preview up top, a set of thumbnails along the bottom. It makes it easy to preview images,
Because you can see the images
video,
in the bottom.
Yeah, but no, they have that.
presentations,
Oh, on the bottom they have thumbnails.
documents, spreadsheets,
This is a lot like the preview
PDFs. And of course, with images, sometimes you want to know more detail about, for instance, how they were captured. And now the new sidebar in Mojave really helps because it now supports full metadata. So you can see around your photo the camera you took the photo on, the kind of lens, the aperture settings, and so forth. It's really handy. And you'll notice also along the bottom, there's this new area called Quick Actions. And quick actions let you act on the current photo. So for instance, if I have a photo like
So they're actually
this,
really bringing
and I want to
photos
edit it,
functionality
I don't
to
have
the
to
Finder
open
is
it and
what
go or
they're
do a
doing.
new app. I can rotate it right here inside the Finder. It's really powerful. Now, this sidebar is available in other views of the Finder. So for instance, I'm just going to bring up the preview pane here, and I'm going to do a multi-selection of a PDF as well as several images. And you'll notice that the Quick Actions area is contextual. So it shows me Create PDF as an option. I'm going to click Create PDF, and it's going to assemble all of these photos into a PDF just like that. But what's really great is these actions are also customizable. So you can create automator actions and assign them to buttons here inside of Finder. So you'll notice that now that I have this PDF selected, I have an option to run a custom automator action that I've created called Watermark PDF. When I click it, my custom action runs, and my document is watermarked.
That's nice.
Just like that. And those are some quick enhancements to the Finder. Now, a tool that I think many of us love when working with files is Quick Look. And now in Mojave, we've made Quick Look more powerful than ever by integrating markup.
I use
Let me
this
show
a
you
lot.
how it works.
I like Quick Look. It's very handy.
So you see down here, I have a permission slip. It's a PDF document. I'm just going to tap spacebar to quick look it. And you notice now I have the option to invoke markup. I click, and now I have access to my markup tools.
Nice.
Including my ability to sign this document.
Fantastic.
I can just drag out my signature like this.
Smile on my Mac's not going to be happy.
Now, this works
But
for
that's
all
a great
kinds
feature.
of files.
There's a lot
so
of
for
people want
instance,
that. That's
with
great.
images, I can rotate and crop. And with video, I can even trim.
It's a really interesting idea.
Right here inside of Quick Look.
This is
that's a quick look at Quick Look.
Something that computer scientists have been thinking about for decades, the idea of and then proposed but never really manifested, the idea of a file-centric
and we've made
operating
screenshots
system
more powerful
that gave
than
you
ever
those kinds
in
of
Mojave.
functionality in the operating system. I think that's very interesting.
So let's take a look here at a web page, and I'm just going to take
well
a
suited to
screenshot
do this
in the
because all of
traditional
these
way. I'm gonna
capabilities are kind of
screenshot a
surfaced
selection,
with
page,
SDKs with
and I
kits.
want you to watch what happens
So
in the
it's not so
lower right.
hard, I think, to add this.
I get a
Finder for a long
thumbnail
time was
instantly of
ignored,
that
the user
screenshot.
interface.
And when I double click in, I get an accelerated workflow
They've
right
obviously put
into
some effort
markup
into the
where I have
Finder
access
team.
to all of my tools. So for instance, if I want to create a magnification here, I can just drag that out, magnify. It's that easy. But now we've also made it easier to access a variety of tools. So when I bring up my screenshotting, you see I am presented with this HUD that tells me I could capture the entire screen, a selected window or selection, but we've also added screen capture for video.
Looks like they've been paying attention to the kinds of things people are trying to do.
Let me show you how that works. So I'm going to go to a web page here that has an animation running.
And to not have to open an application, but to do some of these things quickly, I think it's a good idea.
Say to record the selected area.
Look at that.
I'll just make a nice selection
here.
Do a
little video of the screen.
Okay, and I'm recording just like that.
Very nice.
Of course, I can manipulate the app, so all will be reflected in my recording. And when I'm done, I can click the stop button right up here. And now you notice I have this thumbnail in the lower right. Well, I can actually pick this up and drag it into a new space and incorporate it right into a document, just like that. Now, we further enhance the way you capture content, and that brings me to continuity.
This is actually almost a new metaphor about how people use computers. I think this is very interesting.
Things like AirDrop.
You're seeing it in mobile too, where they're getting away from app. You know, traditionally you launch an app to do something. You launch a program to do something. The idea that the operating system can do that by using snips of the app. Android's been doing this, and this is, I think this is a really good idea.
We call continuity camera. Let me show you how it works. So here in my keynote presentation, I have a space that's just waiting for a new photo. And I have my phone right here. Well, when I select this object, I can choose to take a photo.
This is nice.
And I want you to watch what happens when I select this to my phone. It automatically, immediately lights up, ready to take a photo. So I can take one
much more sophisticated use of it. This is great.
And when I do, I can select Use Photo, and it appears directly in my document. Isn't that cool? Now, this works as well for scanning documents. So here I have a place where I could use a scan. Once again, I'm going to select from the menu, and this time Scan Document. Again, my camera lights up.
This is actually all very encouraging because the more the Mac is part of the iOS ecosystem, the better it is for the Macintosh.
And my scan goes immediately.
This is almost a way of saying we have been paying attention to the Mac.
There you go.
They've done some really interesting stuff
Thank
here.
you.
This may be the most significant improvement in Finder in years.
I can take photos,
many
stills, and even capture video. And this is a quick look at some great new features in Mojave.
And that's very encouraging. For people like me who've been worried about the Mac, I think this is very reassuring.
I'd like to turn to apps. We are bringing news to the Mac.
Yeah, this I don't care so much about.
Now, news has all of the stories you've come to expect from news on iOS.
This is exactly the opposite.
Amazing on the Mac display.
This is making the Mac more like iOS, which I'm much less excited about.
Trending stories, you're personalized for you, and that's not for me. And you also get this great new sidebar where you can drill in and jump right to the topics and channels you follow. News is going to be great. We also have stocks coming to the Mac. Now, you get your stock prices combined with high-quality business news. It's delivered from Apple News. Shows you your watch list with your prices on the left. You can even drill into this interactive chart to get more information. And of course, great news. We're also bringing voice memos to the Mac. Now, voice memos is the most popular voice recorder on iOS. And so many of us use it to capture music recordings or lectures. And now that voice memos syncs via iCloud to your Mac, you can take those recordings that you make and, for instance, drag them right into GarageBand as the foundation for a song. Finally, thrilled to announce Home is coming to the Mac as well.
So this is what you don't like too, more.
This actually I could see using it.
All of your accessories here. You can run your scenes.
My Home has one button, but
monitor your video cameras, and of course with Siri, you can command your
home
HomeKit
with
your voice.
There's a limited amount of HomeKit stuff, unfortunately, but that's probably what it should be. It's interesting. These are completely contrary trends. One, the iOSification of the Mac. The other, making the Mac more powerful as a desktop operating system.
One of the reasons that people choose Apple products is because of our commitment to security and privacy. And we believe that your private data should remain private. Now, not because you've done something wrong or that you have something to hide,
all surprising to
but
see
because there
this
can be a
segment.
lot of sensitive data on your devices, and we think you should be in control of who sees it.
Apple's going to be doubling
Now,
down on this.
To begin, we protect your information on your devices using state-of-the-art hardware and software. And this year, we're adding greater protections about how apps can access that information. Today, Apple devices check in with you before granting an app access to information like your location. You can tell because you'll see an alert just like this one. And macOS already provides API-level protections for things like contacts, photos, calendar, and reminders. But now in Mojave, we're extending these protections to include your camera and your microphone,
Very good.
as well as protecting sensitive parts of your file system, like your mail database, your message history,
Good.
and your backups. And all of this is protected by default for any app that you run on the system. Important protection. Next, I want to turn to some great enhancements to Safari, because Safari works really hard to protect your privacy, and this year it's working even harder. Last year, we introduced intelligent tracking prevention to dramatically reduce the ability for apps to track you across websites using cookies. This is the kind of thing where you look at a product on one site.
This is something Google will never do because this is how Google makes money.
And somehow this is
Apple's
just
smart
following you
again
wherever
to
you
double
go.
down on this.
Well, we've all seen these like buttons and share buttons, and these comment fields. Well, it turns out these can be used to track you, whether you click on them or not. And so this year, we are shutting that down.
What does that mean?
Not sure. It's like
Now, if you do want to interact with one of these, or one of these apps tries to access that
they
information,
can block this in the
you'll get this
browser.
and you can decide to keep your information private. Now,
Again, something very difficult for Google to
next,
do.
let's talk about fingerprinting. You know, data companies are clever and relentless. And in addition to cookies,
This is the most aggressive
they
I've
use
seen
another
Apple on
method
this.
called
This is very
fingerprinting.
interesting.
And here's how it works. Just like you can be identified by a fingerprint, it turns out that when you browse the web, your device can be identified by a unique set of characteristics, like its configuration, its fonts that you have installed, and the plugins that you might have on the device. And these data companies can use this set of characteristics to construct a unique fingerprint to track your device from site to site. With Mojave, we're making it much harder for trackers to create a unique fingerprint. We're presenting web pages with only a simplified system configuration. We show them only built-in fonts. And legacy plugins are no longer supported, so those can't contribute to a fingerprint. And as a result, your Mac will look more like everyone else's Mac, and it will be dramatically more difficult for data companies to uniquely identify your device and track you.
This is good. This is from Apple's point of view exactly the direction they should take.
Now, we're bringing all of these new protections to Safari on both Mojave and iOS 12. Next, let's talk about the Mac App Store. And to do that, I'd like to invite to the stage Ann Ty, our product marketing manager for the App Store.
Anti what?
Ann.
What is she anti? She anti disestablishmentarianism?
Completely redesigned App Store
Poor
on
anti.
iOS. Every day, we celebrate apps, games, and developers. We've written more than 4,000 stories for the New Today tab, and hundreds of them have each been read by more than 1 million people. The response has been incredible, and we've learned a lot. We've got a bunch of great new features coming later this year that we'll cover in sessions. This year, we are turning our attention to the Mac App Store.
Now, I don't know who it was who screamed there, but I'm thinking it's the guy who worked on this.
Download and install software for Mac, making it easy with one click. It's the biggest catalog of Mac apps in the world. It's also a trusted and
Or his
safe
mother.
place to download software.
Could be his mom.
And trusting where you get your apps from has become more important than ever. Developers can distribute their apps to 155 countries and get worldwide payment processing, and it offers seamless software updates from one place. This adds up to a great experience for our users. We've spent a lot of time thinking about what people do on their Macs and wanted to create a place organized around those themes. So we've redesigned an all-new Mac App Store from the ground up, and we're thrilled to show it to you now.
Well, that's interesting.
Looks like
Didn't expect that.
It's got a beautiful UI that should feel
It's
familiar,
dark
but
mode.
new, and designed first and foremost to be a great Mac app. Starting with the new Discover tab, where each week you can find in-depth editorial about the best Mac apps through stories and collections, and see what's most popular with top charts. Here's a story about musician and founder Kareem Morsi. Learn about how he uses his app, DJ Pro 2, and get inspiration for your own set. Helpful videos autoplay so you can see what apps are capable of before downloading them. Visit the all-new Create, Work, Play, and Develop tabs, where you'll find helpful recommendations and expertise around each theme. Here's the Create tab, where you can find apps that bring your artistic ideas to life. These tabs will also help you make the most of apps you might already have, with tips and tutorials even the most expert users will find useful. The Work, Play, and Develop tabs share the same beautiful design, and you can still browse by category on the Categories tab. We've redesigned product pages too, bringing many features over from iOS based on our learnings there. It has more useful information, like video previews, available on the Mac App Store for the first time, and apps rank if it's charting and if it's been named Editor's Choice. Ratings and reviews are now front and center, and these are so important for app discovery. So we're introducing a ratings and review API for Mac apps. Now it'll be easier than ever for people to leave feedback. We're really excited about the all-new Mac App Store. We've talked to some developers already, and they're really excited too. Like Microsoft, who will bring Office 365 to the Mac App Store later this year.
Yeah, interesting. An App Store version of
And Adobe
Microsoft
is bringing
Office.
Lightroom CC.
Oh, wow.
Panic is bringing Transmit.
Now, this is
And
all
Barebones
interesting because
is
Panic
bringing
pulled
VB
Transmit, for
Edit.
instance, and so did Barebones
And many more great
from the
names
App Store
are
because
coming to the
they
all-new
couldn't
Mac App
do
Store too.
what
We
Apple
can't wait for you to check out the new Mac App
wanted
Store.
them to do to be in the
now,
App Store.
I'll
This
hand
is
it
interesting.
Back to Craig.
Maybe Apple has either loosened their restrictions.
So we think the Mac App Store is going to
Talk to
inspire
Rich
whole new
at Barebones about
generations of
this.
apps. And so we want to talk about some of the technologies that will be behind some of that next generation. We spoke earlier about ARKit. I want to talk about two more. And let's start with Metal. Now, Metal is the technology to get the highest performance graphics and computation from graphics processors. Metal was designed for modern GPUs. It's incredibly
a lot of
efficient.
questions about
And that enables amazing console-level games like
happen in the App
Fortnite
Store,
from
but that's
Epic
interesting.
to run great for the first time on mobile. But Metal also enables these games to scale to take full advantage of modern Macs. In fact, across iOS and the Mac, there are over 1 billion Metal-enabled devices. And we're constantly making Metal better. To bring the highest GPU performance and reach of all Macs, we've recently added support for external GPUs. And this is powered by Metal. And the results are truly mind-boggling. For instance, running a filter in DaVinci Resolve, look at how it scales on the incredibly fast iMac Pro as you add up to 4 eGPUs. Now, the results are even more staggering when you take a 13-inch MacBook Pro
Really?
and
You have to add an
eGPUs to
eGPU to your
it, achieving up to
$5,000
8.5
computer?
times
Really?
speed up. It's pretty awesome. Now, eGPUs also enable Macs to achieve all new levels of performance and realism in 3D rendering and gaming. Now, this beautiful forest you see here, this isn't a video capture. This is from Unity's new Book of the Dead interactive demo, and it's being rendered live right now on a MacBook with an eGPU powering this display. I mean, doesn't this look amazing?
eGPUs are external Thunderbolt 3 graphics cards.
Because this is
very expensive.
Live, we can check what's
and it
up
really,
ahead. So let's start walking.
For Apple to promote this is an acknowledgement that they have anemic GPUs in their computers.
To generate real-time lighting and complex post-processing effects. So cool. And that's all rendered live
really
on a MacBook running with an eGPU. It's pretty great.
I'm not sure what their point is here.
Now, another place where we're doing incredible acceleration with Metal is in machine learning. And today, ML specialists usually use one of these third-party libraries to train their models using servers. And now it turns out we can accelerate tools like this with our new Metal Performance shaders. We're seeing speed-ups of up to 20 times in using the GPU with Metal instead of CPU-based training. And while speeding these tools up is great, we actually think there's a better way for most developers. And that's training on the Mac you already have, using a great new tool we call CreateML.
And $50,000 worth of eGPUs.
Now, CreateML is designed to let you train without being a machine learning expert. You can train vision and natural language models. You can bring your own custom data, and it's really easy to use because it's all built in Swift.
I don't know who would use this,
in
given
fact, you
the
can use Xcode playgrounds to train your model. Just drag
TPUs
one
that
in,
Google offers and
your training set,
Microsoft
you can
similar
drag in your test set as well.
Azure-based
and the
hardware.
training is all GPU accelerated, so it's incredibly fast. Now, as an example, we worked with Memrise. They're a developer who uses the camera to identify objects and speak them in multiple languages. And in the past, they would train their model with 20,000 images, and it would take them 24 hours to do so. Well, now, with CreateML, they can train that same model in 48 minutes on a MacBook Pro. And on an iMac Pro, it's just 18 minutes. And what's even more incredible is that model in the past for them was 90 megabytes, and now it's just 3 megabytes. It's a huge difference. Now, we also are making models run much faster on device using CoreML2. Now, CoreML is our technology for high-performance on-device machine learning, and now it's better than ever. It's 30% faster in on-device processing using a technique called batch predictions. And you can reduce your model size by up to 75% using quantization. And so that's CoreML and CreateML. You no longer have to be an expert in machine learning to build those techniques into your app. Now, these technologies are redefining what's possible in apps. And they're common not just to macOS, but also to iOS. And the fact that the Mac and iOS share so much technology has led people almost every year to keep asking us the question, are you merging iOS and macOS? So I'd like to take a moment to briefly address this question. No. Of course not.
It's not answering the right question, but okay. That's the question really is, what is the future of macOS?
And we love macOS because it's explicitly created to the unique characteristics
it's not the
of
issue.
Mac hardware,
it's not whether
like
they're going to merge the
ergonomics
two.
Of the keyboard and the trackpad.
But it's whether they're going to continue to devote resources to
storage.
desktop.
And because of the power it exposes, it makes the Mac able to accomplish almost anything. So we think that this question is actually coming from something else.
It bothers me that they answered this question.
Mac users have access to a rich set of great native applications, apps that take full advantage of the power of Mac technologies.
What's the future of macOS?
Mac users also use apps based on other technologies. We routinely access web-based experiences like Netflix that build on WebKit, the standards-based web technology in Safari. And we also run sometimes cross-platform games built on technology like Metal. And all of these platforms enrich the Mac user's experience. But we think there's room for one more. And so we'd like to give you a sneak peek of a multi-year project we have going on, because we see a huge opportunity for the Mac to tap into the world's most vital app ecosystem. It's called iOS. I think you might be familiar with it. Now, there are millions of iOS apps out there, and we think some of them would be absolutely great on the Mac, and Mac users would love to have them there. And from a technical standpoint, it's actually a really good fit, because from day one, iOS and macOS have shared common foundations. But iOS devices and Mac devices, of course, are different, and the user interfaces are somewhat different,
Not much
so
longer.
the frameworks underneath are as well. And that makes today porting an app from one to the other some work.
This
we
is,
wanted to make
of
this
course,
much easier. And so
a
we've
predicate
taken
to an ARM-based
key
Mac.
frameworks from iOS and brought them to the Mac. And we've adapted them to specific Mac behaviors, like use of trackpad and mouse, window resizing, integration of things like copy and paste and drag and drop into the system services on the Mac.
How do you use
Now,
iOS apps
phase
without
one
touch?
of this effort is to test it on ourselves. So this year in macOS, we've taken some of
Stocks
our
app.
own iOS apps, and we've brought them to the Mac using this technologies to make sure it works well. You've actually heard about several of them earlier today. And it turns out they make fantastic
None of these are touch
Mac
forward,
apps.
are they?
And we were able to bring them to the app with the Mac with very few code changes. Now, this is going to be coming to you developers next year, so you can easily bring your iOS apps
This is the beginning
to
of
the
the end
Mac.
for the Mac.
And in the meantime,
I'm sorry, but that's
we hope
what
you
this
enjoy
is.
news, stocks,
Actually,
voice memos,
it's
and home.
not even the beginning.
Mojave.
That's been going on for a while.
Now, we're really excited about Mojave. From desktop,
Although, again, I want to
Stacks,
reiterate, I am
Finder,
excited, too,
Gallery
that they
View,
have clearly been putting effort into the
to
Finder.
enhance screenshots and markup, news and home on the Mac for the first time, stocks, and of course, the redesigned Mac App Store.
I think the developers are thinking
And of course,
very
there's
hard right now.
even
They're
more.
asking themselves a
like
lot of questions.
APFS now supports Fusion and hard drives, and Safari tabs can now have favicons if you want them there. And,
Well,
of
there's a
course,
feature I've
group
been waiting for.
FaceTime. So that's macOS Mojave. I hope you like it. I'm going to hand it back to Tim. Thank you so much.
Well, there you go. All four of the operating systems they promised: iOS, tvOS, watchOS, and macOS. I think we're ready to wrap it up.
Huge update to macOS.
2 hours and 11 minutes in.
And what an extraordinary morning. We got started with iOS 12 with all new capabilities, including taking AR further than ever before, bringing Siri to any app with Siri Shortcuts and screen time, and cool new communication features like Memoji and group FaceTime. And watchOS, now with walkie-talkie, activity competitions, new workouts, new Siri capabilities, and so much more. And Apple TV 4K, now with Dolby Atmos, some great new partnerships, and the ease of zero sign-on. And you're going to really love those new aerial screensavers. And macOS Mojave, with all new dark mode, great updates to desktop and Finder, enhanced privacy and security, and a completely redesigned Mac App Store. The updates will be available to our users this fall, and there will be developer betas for each of them after the keynote this morning. Thank you. Now, before we close, we wanted to celebrate you and the amazing work that you do. So we went out and talked to some of the most important people in your lives, the ones that know you the best. And we made a short video, and I'd love to run it for you now.
The parents of developers. What I do, what my mom thinks I do.
I don't have any idea at all how to create an app. I don't understand any of it.
Thank you.
Ask me another question.
My son is a developer at Robinhood.
My daughter Jyoti is a WWDC 2018 scholarship winner.
My brother started and founded Yelp.
Olio.
Timeless.
OneDrop.
Splitter Critters. Homer. You gotta look at her.
My brother Derek created the app Refugees and Immigrants, the Creative. The Collective. Why did I say the Creative?
At Christmas time, when most kids maybe would want skis or something, he wanted computer books. He stayed in his bedroom making games while the other kids were outside playing.
He stayed in his
just
bedroom.
really doing the coding. Almost always we have to tell my daughter to stop. But then my daughter would be like, just give me another 10 minutes. I want to get this solved first.
When I watch him code, his eyes move in a weird way, and he's like totally focused. Even when my friends are over, I'd say, well, look at Christopher, look at him. And they'd go, wow.
Does he even know we're looking at him?
When he first came to us with the idea, we were like, okay, good luck. He started off in his small little one-bedroom apartment with next to nothing and sacrificed eating a burger and just have ramen just so that he could, and I'm like, just buy the burger. And he's like, no, that's $3 that I could put towards the app.
Jeremy went out to build the first version of Yelp, and it was a total bust, total failure.
She tried really hard on a couple different titles.
Then he decided to sue Google, and life has changed.
That's a really rough feeling.
That was definitely a low point for Jeremy, because it was like, hey, we got to retool and try again. What Jeremy did notice in the data was that people loved writing comments. And that was really the genesis of the second version of Yelp, which worked.
You have to be really okay with waking up to failure. And then at the end of a whole bunch of failures is something that's great.
Tessa didn't really think, I want to make an app. Tessa found a problem of food waste, which you could use the app to help to solve.
Emma's grandma was diagnosed with Alzheimer's. She even forgot my daughter's birthday. So Emma tried to search for an app that would help, but she couldn't find it. So she said, why don't we just do it ourselves?
My husband was a diabetic. That inspired Jeffrey to do something about diabetes. And it's an answer to a lot of people's prayers.
Jesse won the iPhone Game of the Year. I couldn't believe that he made it. I mean, to me, it was remarkable.
She pulled out her cell phone, and I saw his app on her phone, and I was like, trying not to forget.
For my wife, it's not just creating, it's really wanting to be a part of something big.
The one lesson that I learned from Jeremy every day is just that determination, tenacity, the focus. He foresaw the impact that the iPhone was going to have. And he bet everything on getting an app for it. And I think that it was one of the most important things that Yelp did.
I think he's made a big difference, and so do thousands of other people.
She wants to not just learn, also teach others, and it makes me really proud to see her blossom.
And as a parent, no better thing is there than your kids do what they want to do. Because it isn't how much money you've made, it's really what changes you've left behind. And she's hoping to leave a lot of change behind.
Very nice.
I love that video. And I'm pleased that some of the developers are in the audience this morning. Their stories are great examples of all of your passion and your creativity. We love the work you do and the impact that it has on the world. It inspires all of us at Apple deeply every day. On behalf of everyone at Apple, thank you. And I'd also like to thank everyone at Apple who made today possible. Days like this
is
only
something
come
Steve started.
from years of effort and hard work and great sacrifice.
An acknowledgement of the developers.
And so I thank them and their families. Let's have an incredible week together. Thank you.
Oh, he didn't get him to stand up. He just thanked him. Okay. 6,000 people in the McHenry Auditorium in San Jose Convention Center watching Tim Cook and the Apple team show off the next versions of the 4 big Apple operating systems, macOS, iOS, watchOS, and tvOS. True to the rumor, no hardware, but it's good we had the rumor, because otherwise we'd be sitting here kind of with our jaws on the floor.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I'll tell you what, let's take a little break and then we can recap. The WWDC Keynote 2018, 2 hours and 18 minutes.
It's long.
Not a record length, but a long time.
2 notifications
and
to stand up.
2 notifications to stand up long. Our show is brought to you by those great folks at IT Pro TV. Thank you, IT Pro TV, for making our special broadcast possible. Build or expand your IT career with IT Pro TV. They blend entertainment. See, this is what's different. It's engaging. It's fun. With cutting-edge technology and education, now more than 4,000 hours of on-demand IT training available in their extensive course library. The Certified Ethical Hacker courses, the CISA courses, CompTIA's A+, Max Certified Support Professional, and more. It's a great way to get your first job in IT, and even better way to stay up on IT trends, to gain new skills, to get a better job in IT. And IT Pro TV does it live every day. So you know you're getting the most current training. They add 125 hours a week, and they do it like we do. They do many more hours than we do. They've got 5 studios because they have a chat room. It's engaging. It's fun. I really love what IT Pro TV is doing. Get started on Apple Certified Associate and Apple Certified Support Professional with IT Pro TV. And this is the special offer I mentioned earlier. For the month of June, this month, IT Pro TV is offering more than 57 hours of Apple IT training content free. It's part of their free basic membership. Normally, with the basic membership, you watch what's live, so you watch what they're doing right now, but they're going to throw in another 57 hours of IT training. If you watched 2 a day, you'd be able to get them all in, but you got to start now at IT Pro TV. Whether you're eager to start a new career in IT or you're a seasoned pro, maybe you're looking for an engaging way to keep your team up to date. You got a great team solution. IT Pro TV offers effective and entertaining IT training. Just choose a plan, create an account, enjoy the journey. You're going to love it. Go to go.itpro.tv/WWDC. This is a new URL just for the event. Go.itpro.tv/WWDC. You can sign up for an individual monthly membership. You'll get a 7-day trial free. And if you use the code WWDC, you'll get 30% off your subscription for the lifetime of your account. As long as you stay active, that 30% stays active. That's a great deal. I'll give you an idea. There's a premium subscription. That's the highest level. It includes unlimited Kaplan IT training practice exams. You get virtual labs, so you don't need Windows Server. You can just run it in an HTML5 browser. It's awesome. When you screw it up, which I do, you can close the tab and you just pretend nothing happened. Normally $857 a year. You only pay $600 with that 30% discount. $600 a year, $50 a month for the most engaging, most fun, best IT training. You will reap the reward of that in better earnings, a better job in a day, practically. Go.itpro.tv/WWDC and use the code WWDC. And then they also get group pricing if you want the team solution. Flexible training, binge-worthy content, life-changing results. I'm glad they can go along with us on this WWDC. And that special offer is pretty sweet. Go.itpro.tv/WWDC. And don't forget the offer code WWDC. We thank him so much for making our coverage of WWDC possible. Apple.com/macOS/Mojave-preview is up. So if you want to see some more of what's in Mojave, I couldn't care less. Well, I shouldn't say that. The dark mode is an improvement. It's kind of a minor improvement. All other operating systems that I know of have had theming, have allowed you to do whatever colors you want. Apple's never allowed that. So having a switch for dark mode, that is, I guess, a big deal. To me, though, what's really interesting about what Apple's done with macOS 10.14 Mojave is a Finder with a lot more capability. The Finder's been, frankly, neglected for years on macOS. And I'm thrilled to see him put some capabilities into it. Not a hard thing, I think. I shouldn't say that. Made somewhat easier by the fact that macOS is designed with these modular kits like WebKit to make it easy, I think, easier anyway, for somebody to add into Finder some of these features. But it's great. You'll be able to edit photos. You'll be able to get a lot of the capability of the Photos app without opening it right there in the Finder. They're adding an interesting continuity handoff with the iPhone that I think is going to be pretty cool. The idea that you could, for instance, take a picture on the iPhone and have it immediately on the Mac, put it in a presentation. Markup added to preview on the desktop. That's huge also. The ability to sign a PDF, for instance, something that normally you'd have to download an app to do, or
just do on your iPhone.
Or do it on your iPhone. Yeah. This is all really exciting news. And you know, Craig Federighi took great pains to say, no, we are not merging macOS and iOS. I'm encouraged by the fact that they're putting energy into macOS. I'm a little more discouraged by the fact that they also announced that they're going to make it easier to put iOS apps on macOS. And it's almost with one hand he giveth, and the other hand he taketh away. No, we're not merging them, but, oh, by the way, we're going to put the iOS apps on the Mac. That's interesting, to say the least.
But that was a few years off, they said.
It is a few years off. It's a project. He called it a sneak preview. They did put 4 of their apps on macOS, the News app.
Voice memos.
Not surprising with News because they're really pushing that big time, right? They put a lot of money into that. They bought Texture. Voice memos. The Stock app. I know you've been waiting for that. No weather. Sorry. What was the other one? And HomeKit, the Apple Home app. And that makes perfect sense.
But I use the Home app pretty often, and I've never noticed that it's not on my laptop. Probably just, it's just something that I would think just to use with my iPhone.
I liken it to Sonos. So with Sonos, usually you pull out your phone and you control your Sonos speakers. Now you can actually control it with your voice, which is, in fact, the best way to do it. But that's why this is analogous. But there's always been a Sonos desktop app. And for the times, it's almost something for developers. I don't know if people sit at Macs anymore. But if you do want HomeKit on there. You want to be able to, in fact, it's probably an easier way to set up routines to do it on your Macintosh. But I got the sense from the way he talked about it that these were really proof of concept. These were really about taking iOS apps, putting them in the desktop to show it can be done. And the message to developers is, get ready. Next year, you're going to get the tools to do this yourself. And I think if you're a developer and you have an iOS app, you're probably going to go to whatever the session is that they talk about this and learn as much as you can now. There are things you need to do as you develop. Does it have to be Swift? Can you use Unity? What are the limitations? What will you be able to do? The biggest question mark and the biggest limitation is without touch, most iOS apps probably aren't going to be that useful. Are you going to play Monument Valley with a mouse? Maybe. This will be interesting to see. And it really does then, just as soon as he shot down the question, are you merging macOS and iOS, it brought it right back up, which is maybe tactically not the best thing he could have done. What do you think about iOS 12? You excited?
I am excited. It sounds like it's just going to be more efficient, hopefully more powerful. I like both of those things. I like the shortcuts. I'm going to try that. I like IFT. I use it pretty regularly.
If this, then that.
Yeah.
And remember, Apple bought Workflow, which we liked. It's been a pick on iOS Today several times, and it was kind of a geeky app that let you do some limited kind of workflow stuff with iOS. I was glad to see that Apple bought it because only Apple really can access the guts of apps. Apple's security model keeps third parties from outside, but with Apple involved, they could make Workflow something pretty amazing. So I'll be very interested to see, and it's going to integrate with Siri.
Yeah, I also liked the multi-user AR. I thought that was interesting, just because it makes AR. I think of VR as a really it's less social, and just looking at your phone is less social. So anytime where two people could be playing in AR at the same time is interesting to me. It makes us less alone. Of course, I liked timers because I need Apple to help me control me.
Yeah, Apple did what Google has also done, which is very much acknowledge that they made an addictive product, and we're going to help you wean yourself off. Although, as I think it was Joanna Stern from the Wall Street Journal pointed out on Twitter, they, on the one hand, mentioned, oh, we're going to help you, use your phone less, and then they announced Memojis.
Right.
So it's Apple's, kind of, I think they're torn. They want you to use your phone more, but they also want to give you the tools so you don't feel like it's a benign influence in your house.
Right. And especially at night, waking up in the middle of the night. And I love the parental controls. I've used so many different kind of parental control apps with my kids that really the third-party apps are very hard to use, and they involve they mess up the kids' iPhones. They rearrange their icons, and they kind of remove sometimes you have to turn off two-factor authentication, and they make the operating system a little less secure, and they're just really hard to use. So I'm excited that I might be able to have those parental controls on my phone and have them built into the operating system.
Yeah.
Like I would love to be able to say, like, everybody's phone stops working at 9:00 at night, and
I could see them doing that actually. And of course, you can always do it manually and make sure that that's locked down. And I would imagine, well, I don't know. Will they have parental control style locks on the changes you make to the phone? It would be nice if they did.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that they will. Because right now they have some parental controls, but they're very limited. And also, parental controls for a long time was focused on the kind of content that kids would be allowed to look at.
Well, now it's all about how much time you spend.
That's what I feel like. I mean, there's certainly issues with the kind of content, self-made content that kids use, but really it's not like, oh, I don't want them to watch a rated R movie. I don't want them to listen to, music with bad lyrics.
I just want them to go to bed at 10.
Yeah, I just want them to go outside.
Get off the phone. Yeah, go play.
So anything that, especially not just like being able to do it at work, it's summertime. My kids are home alone. What do you think that they've been doing since, I left the house this morning at 8 and playing Minecraft?
The cynic in me, though, wants to say, well, you could always do that. Turn off your phone or put it in airplane mode at night. You could always make your phone be less compelling. It's almost as if Apple says, well, don't do that. We'll give you some simple tools that will turn themselves off after a period of time, because we don't want you to turn your phone off.
Right. People were not just only turning their phone off; they were turning the screen into
black and white. I showed you how to do that. Yeah. So, Kevin Rose's idea. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the Apple did not do that. That's something Google is doing with Android P, but Apple did not do that. But they did have a non-notification mode for overnight, which is a great idea. Mm-hmm. And that's something Google's doing with Android P. It's really interesting. Both companies are doing very similar things to make the phones less compelling. I love it that Apple is going to give you information about how much time you spend in an app, how many times you launched the app. I mean, some really granular information so that you'll be able to look at your phone and say, wow, I really spent a lot of time on Instagram. And of course, they're also going to add a timeout feature where you could say, I don't want to spend more than 5 hours a day looking at pictures. And you can actually set that up and it'll say, hey, you've exceeded your time limit. Those are all useful tools.
Yeah,
I'm glad they're putting them in.
Yeah, it's just help with behavior modification, right?
Yeah. Anything else on iOS before we move to watchOS?
Well, I think that's all that, there were lots of other things, but nothing that really caught my eye.
We will get it. The developers are getting a preview today of all of the new operating systems, and we will all get these in September, and typically that coincides with the release of the iPhone, the next iPhone, whatever that is, in September or early October. I look forward to it. I'm actually even more excited about watchOS. There's one feature in watchOS that really gets me excited. It's the walkie-talkie feature. Mm-hmm. So the idea, and I think I'll be very interested in how it's implemented, because, of course, if I allow, probably you do this with your spouse, right? You would have Marco set it up. Well, he doesn't wear an Apple Watch, probably. Mm-hmm. Nor does Lisa. So I guess we're out of line. It's going to be you and me. We're going to be texting. We're going to be, Megan, what's for supper? And so what it is you press a big yellow button, looks just like the Nextel phone yellow, big yellow button on it, and you say something, and then it immediately goes to your watch. They said the audio quality is good. Now, I'm sure it was a canned demo, but the one with the woman on the bicycle talking to Peaches, her daughter, was very good audio quality, I thought. So you would do that. It would go to you. You could listen to it and then respond. So it's kind of almost asynchronous conversation. It's not full duplex, but it is kind of, I think, a very useful way. And I think a lot of times, of course, it was heavily used in construction sites, but I think a lot of people use the Nextel phones to talk to spouses because you didn't want to make a full phone call. You just wanted to have a quick conversation. I think that's going to be a killer feature on the new Apple Watch. I'm pretty excited.
Well, there was one walkie-talkie app, I think it was called Walkie Talkie, that we had talked about. And then a month later was hurricane season last year, and there was flooding. And then it became the #1 app in the App Store because people were using it in emergency situations. They were, instead of like, having to take the time to text, you just like, I'm up on the roof, I'm on the 3rd floor. That kind of thing would be much easier. We also had someone who worked in a theater and wanted something like that, where just texting, when, it's not like something you'd use all the time. Like, Leo, would prefer you not to walkie-talkie me and ask me what you're having for dinner because I have no idea.
It's kind of annoying.
But in certain situations, texting is just annoying, and talking on the phone is difficult too. So I think this will be nice.
It'll be nice to have. Obviously, you don't have to implement it. This is part of watchOS 5, I presume also in September. Not clear how much it depends on iOS 12, but it might, especially because apps are getting much more functionality on the watch. You'll be able to, for instance, if in a notification, respond to the notification, work with it on the watch directly, which I think is fantastic. A new API for workouts, including a competition API, which allows you to, used to be you just could, applaud my workout. Now you'll be able to hector me and say, I'm beating you, so forth.
Right. We can have a direct competition to say, I think we should.
I think, though, for some people, and certainly for me, competition actually is a motivator.
Yeah.
It's a helpful motivator. New features on workouts, including one that I've wanted for a long time in the Apple Watch. It will detect you working out and give you credit for what you've done up to now. Hallelujah. This, I've had this for a while on the Samsung S3. When I started, not for every workout, but like for some, and Apple also is limited to certain workouts it can easily detect. But when I was walking, it would say, oh, I see you're taking a hike, and it would start recording it. It would pause when you stopped, when you sat down to lunch, and resume again. Automatic workout detection is going to be a nice feature. They're adding yoga. I know you're excited about that.
Yeah, I had a yoga workout before, but I guess it's like calorie burn and
heart rate.
Because I used to do an 1.5-hour session of Bikram yoga, which is
get no credit for that.
No,
that's the hot yoga.
Yeah,
yeah.
Once they can measure how much I sweat, then that's going to be.
Some improvements that you liked in running as well, including rolling miles, which lets you see your split for the preceding mile at any time.
And notifying me when I've gone below my target pace
That's
or
great.
reached my target pace. Because sometimes you slow down and you don't even realize it.
Yeah, that's great. Podcast. Now, this is something Pocket Casts already does, but I think the interface is pretty nice. Apple Podcasts will let you listen to your podcasts and pick them up, not only on the watch, but anywhere else. It'll remember where you stopped. That's a nice feature. And as a podcaster, I'm happy about that. But do you pair your Apple Watch with your AirPods? Because that's really what you need to do. There's no headphone jack. You have to.
Yeah, no, I don't. Because usually when I'm running, my AirPods would fall out. So I just.
But you have other Bluetooth headphones.
Yeah.
Could you pair them to the Apple Watch? I think you could.
Yeah, I think you could. I never.
But you don't.
I never do. No.
You could put 4 gigs of music on here. You could have podcasts on here. I don't know. I like that idea. I'll probably use that. They say, now this is worrying to me, that Siri is going to be more responsive, that you won't have to say, hey, you-know-who, that just raising your watch will trigger her listening. But wait a minute. Don't I raise my watch to see what time it is or to see notifications? How do it know?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that will be nice because I don't like to say the words I don't like to talk to my watch, but I do press the button, and that's annoying. And so what if it occasionally records something that you know.
I don't mind that. I just don't want it to take over the screen. If I'm looking at what time it is and I get the Siri interface, that's terrible. I want to see this in action. Yeah. They're going to have to explain to me how it knows that I'm trying to activate Siri as opposed to look at what time it is. That doesn't make any sense. We shall see. They are going to add routines to Siri, too, both on iOS and on the watch. So you'll be able to say, I'm about to leave, start my ride to work. And that'll be, I think, well, depending on how much work you have to put in to set it up, that'll be kind of cool. I love the idea that you can get notifications you can interact with. Here's an example on the screen of a notification for a upcoming flight, and a button that says check in. Now, you raised the interesting and most important point. If all that does is say, now open your iPhone, that is not much. If I can do, though, some of this stuff right from the watch, I'll be happy about that. Do Not Disturb has the same feature on iOS and watchOS that you can say, just for an hour or until I leave here. So I would use that when I get to work. Do not disturb until I leave this location. And then it would automatically turn it back on. I like that. If you have a student ID cards will work now at University of Alabama, Duke, Johns Hopkins, University of Oklahoma, Santa Clara University, and Temple. They're going to support it and the touchless reader. So you'll be able to open doors to the dorm. You'll be able to pay for food. All with your watch. I think that's good, too. It's going to sell watches.
Pay for laundry. Imagine. Pay for your laundry with your watch.
Imagine doing laundry.
Did you not do laundry in college?
Well, I had an arrangement. I put it all in a bag, and then I just hung the bag out the window. And that way, I didn't have to worry about it. Yeah. Eventually, I'd run out of clothes, and I'd just buy some more. So... watchOS, they did say something interesting about both iOS and watchOS. They're going to support older hardware. They said iOS 12 will support all the way back to iPhone 5S. watchOS goes all the way back to Series 1. It does not go to the first generation Apple Watch. So you will have to have at least a Series 1 Apple Watch. Let's see. We mentioned iOS. We mentioned macOS. We mentioned watchOS. What's left? tvOS. Do you remember anything from that presentation?
Well, they were really talking more about getting rid of the cable box. But it seems like the Apple TV announcements always are...
They're aspirational.
Yeah.
This is what we'd like.
Yeah. So, like, we can get...
This is what we hope.
What we still can't do on the Apple TV is have everything, like, we can get Netflix, but it's never like you were watching you were just watching.
It's missing that
Netflix.
feature, but I think we're going to get more of that. I think the TV app has gotten better. I am excited about the addition of
Atmos.
Dolby Atmos. I almost want to say Adobe Atmos from Adobe. That actually sounds really good from Dolby. That's the upward firing speakers or speakers in your ceiling. If you go to an Atmos theater, it's really dramatic. We have an Atmos theater now in Petaluma, and there are, I counted at least 15 speakers. There's 6 speakers here. There's speakers there. There's speakers everywhere, and it really is a dramatic, not merely loud, but just a very elaborate, detailed soundstage that's all around you. That'll be a nice feature. It makes the Apple TV 4K more and more desirable for people with 4K TVs, HDR, nice sound systems. I'm glad they're doing that.
They had no sign-on. That was something, but I don't have a cable provider, so that's not anything.
The real problem with both, the TV app and live TV and this no sign-on is it only works with one cable provider in the whole country, Charter Spectrum. And there's no indication it'll ever work with anybody else. I'm sure they're trying to do deals. It will never work with Comcast because they have their own smart digital platform, the X1 platform, and I'm sure they see the Apple TV as competitors. So the idea, Apple's been pushing this, Microsoft too, lots of companies have been pushing this for a long time, of replacing the dumb, really fairly bad cable set-top boxes. They're cheap, that's why cable companies use them, with something like an Apple TV. Well, I know users would love that, but the cable companies don't want it, and that's the real problem Apple's facing. Apple's been trying to put together something with Apple TV that could be, a live TV experience, and they just haven't been able to do it. They did not mention, I was surprised, any of the new content they're bringing to Apple TV, and that leaves a big question mark, which is, how is that content going to surface? Is it going to be Apple Music now with TV shows? Is it going to be part of Apple TV? Apple gave us no indication of what their plans are. We know there's a lot of content coming. They're spending $1 billion over the next year, and some really high-profile shows and high-profile performers, but no idea at all about how it's going to come to us.
And eventually, I think they'll probably have apps, and you'll be able to subscribe through the Apple TV. I think that is probably... I've heard rumors that that's the plan. Like you would subscribe to Netflix through your Apple TV, you'd subscribe to HBO Now through your Apple TV, and then they would get some income from that.
Yeah, and that's why no one's going to do it, because Apple takes 30%. I was frankly surprised to see that they were talking, what were they talking about? Buying on the Mac.
Office?
Microsoft Office. Yeah, they've added to the App Store Office. Is Microsoft going to cede 30% of its Office revenue to Apple? I doubt it. They must have made a special side deal to bring that to the App Store. Adobe's Creative Lightroom CC, the bad new version of Lightroom, will be on the App Store. But I can't imagine Adobe giving up $5 a month of their $15 subscription fee or whatever it is to Apple. So Apple must be making some side deals. They also must have changed the rules for the App Store because people like Rich Siegel at Bare Bones Software very famously said, I can't make BB Edit on the iTunes Store. He actually pulled it, I believe it was on there, and he pulled it off because, or he had two different versions because Apple doesn't let me do the things I need to do, particularly with the file system. I can't make a useful text editor and put it on the App Store. Panic pulled its Transmit FTP program off of the App Store. Same reason. And Apple announced that both Panic and Bare Bones were coming to the App Store again. So again, there are a lot of questions. These will be answered probably over the next week. Some developers will go to some of these events, even though they're NDA'd. I'm sure some of this information will leak out. Maybe Apple will explain. Have they loosened the restrictions on what you can do on the App Store? Or have these companies decided, well, it's better to be on the App Store with a stripped down application than not on the App Store at all? I don't know. Actually, in a way, a lot of questions raised by what was on the stage. No surprise at all that Apple spent some time, I think it was Craig Federighi, talking about privacy. Really doubling down on the fact that we are not Facebook, we are not Google, we're not Microsoft even. You can trust us with your data. They showed changes they're making to Safari to block things like the Facebook like button from collecting data about you. Facebook, we know, creates these shadow profiles of people, even if they're not Facebook members. And Apple's Safari is going to actively block that. And that is really a unique position for Apple. I doubt Microsoft would do that with Edge. I know Google wouldn't do it with Chrome. So that's something Apple can really say, hey, we're unique here. If you want privacy, we can do it. If you want security, we can do it. And I think that they, unsurprisingly, spent some time on that on the keynote. My favorite part of the keynote, though, was the opening movie. I thought that was great. Stephen Fry doing his best David Attenborough impression. As the animals, the developers emerge from their watering hole. If you get a chance, if you haven't seen it, go back to the beginning and watch it because it was awful. I mean, awesome.
I like the end. I am a sucker for, parents and partners and all the people that are, talking about their loved one.
That was cute. It was less. I was a little more annoyed by that. But anyway.
That's the difference between you and me.
Develop. I mean, I think the developers identify with it because anybody who's written software knows that's what their parents think. What are you doing in there? When are you going to ever come out? Why do your eyes look like that? That one of the things is his eyes look. This is the App Store. It's on the Apple developer site, developer.apple.com/app-store/Mac. This is the new dark UI. I think app developers will be interested to see what kind of additional discovery features, how well the search will work. I'm less worried about the dark UI. I'm more interested in making search work in these app stores. They've been traditionally terrible. But I'm sure these are all stuff developers are very interested in. Oh, yeah, even easier for customers to find apps and games. Good.
Yeah, the Today tab on the iOS App Store is so interesting. Like, I don't know exactly what they're doing.
It's editorial.
Yeah, like I never sit down and read those articles about...
we were talking about this on iOS Today last week. They have one for parents, what your kids are doing on Clash of Clans, a Clash of Clans tutorial, so you can understand what that game is that you keep hearing all day and night on your kids' phones. I think that's an interesting use of the App Store. Yeah. And I bet you we see stuff like that.
Oh, yeah,
they said
there was going to be an editorial and they're turning it into a magazine.
Look at this. Behind the scenes, put a spin on it. How the developer of DJ Pro 2 masterfully. See, this is aimed at developers. They want this. This is huge. If you can get this kind of publicity from Apple, it'll double your numbers overnight. Office 365. That'll be very interesting. Yeah. So I think in a nutshell, that's what we saw today. 2 hours and some minutes of mostly nothing.
Well, it's
a few things.
It's stuff that we can't play with right now. I think the only thing available now is like the screensavers on Apple TV or something.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, the aerials.
I like the screensaver. That's really beautiful.
The aerials.
Aerials, they're available and something else is available at noon. Some new app. I was saying, where can I get that? And this came out at noon. I thank you all for joining us. I'm sorry there's no hardware. I personally apologize on behalf of everybody at Apple. They just couldn't give us new Macs. They couldn't give us new iPads. And no word at all about when they're going to appear. No word. I know developers would like to know more about the Mac Pro that's coming out next year. No word about that. Really, in some ways, more questions raised than answers today.
No AirPod 2s.
Yeah. And where's the wireless charger? Where's the wireless charger?
The AirPad.
Please stop the insanity, Tim. No. The Apple video is on YouTube. If you didn't see it, you can watch it there as well. Or just rewind to the beginning of this broadcast. I want to thank our sponsors, IT Pro TV, for really taking a flyer on this. They said, you know, we're going to buy the whole thing. And thank you, IT Pro TV. You should check it out. They have a new address, go.itpro.tv/WWDC. Check it out. 7-day free trial, 30% off. And I love it that they're putting 57 hours of Apple to IT training content up for free for anybody with a basic membership. Check that out at IT Pro TV. Thank you, Megan Morrone. I will see you again early in the morning tomorrow.
We'll cogitate all this stuff. We'll mix it up in our blender brains.
Yeah, and I'll try to find out more about iOS and tvOS and watchOS. That's what we cover on iOS Today tomorrow, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern, 1600 UTC at twit.tv/live. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time.